pneumonia right now, so that's not fun to deal with.
Hey, Kirsten, are you on here? Can you hear us? It says you added her. Let me ask her if she's in. You added her, right? She's
I have her on Skype. She's just writing something. I can bring her.
Yes, please.
Okay. Just let me add her.
Do your ears ring too, Natasha? I mean, Maria?
Yes. Yes.
What's it sound like? What's it sound like?
It's like a low frequency, almost like when you got a TV set just plugged in and not going. It's like that frequency sound, but every now and then I'll get like a warbling sound just out of nowhere, like a turbulence almost.
Yeah.
And it seems to be more dominant in my left ear than in my right when I get those really heavy sounds. And they just come out of nowhere. And a lot of times it seems towards the later in the evening that I get the really strange frequencies. And I do have a mouthful of silver fillings. So I don't know if I'm picking up on frequencies or what's going on there. But it's very, very, very annoying.
Hey, you have anything to say about that, Russ?
Yeah, she mentioned that it's louder in the evenings. I have found my low frequency hearing of Levy's harp is louder after dark. They start spraying more heavily after dark, and then all night long it's louder, and during daytime it's significantly less loud. So there seems to correlate a little bit there.
Yeah. I have gotten that almost like a turbulent sound during the day. I don't know how to really describe it, but as a, like if you're driving with one window down, it's like I don't know, it's a really strange frequency, but it's a very much lower frequency and harder.
A popping pressure?
Not a popping pressure.
No.
It's
sounds
almost
like she's describing a hum. It sounds to me like a hum that's out of phase. Like if you actually have more than one sound combined,
yes,
and the frequencies are slightly out a little bit, then you hear a wah. They'll sound like a wah wah.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I want to start howling. It is, oh my God, horrible. And I just, sitting there waving my hand by my ear, and I don't know what to do. And people look at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? But, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. I can also hear those, those mechanisms they had in grocery stores, the clicking sound to keep the rats away. It's a high frequency noise.
Yeah, those rodent deterrent.
Yes, where you hear the clicking in your jaw type. I could hear those too. So yeah.
Yeah, that low frequency that I it got so bad several months ago. I would go walk way up the street, to see if there was any difference, or go drive up the road, and it was anywhere I went, it was there. It didn't matter where you went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get no. I think there was a day 2 weeks ago that I was being back from San Jacinto. For a moment, I had nothing, and my ears were clear, and I could hear everything crystal clear, and bam, it just came back again. It was just for maybe 5 minutes of driving, and that was it. So I don't know. It's just, it's very disturbing. And when you hear more and more people, they sit with it thinking, oh my God, am I crazy? And then you ask somebody else, and lo and behold, there's a ton of people with the same problems, and that's the greatness of having, pages and stuff on Facebook, is that people get together and they figure out that, hey, I'm not the only one. There's power in numbers, and now you can go back and tell, your doctor, whoever, I'm not the only one. I am not crazy, and you don't have to feel crazy, and it empowers you, to overcome whatever it is that you're going through. I think it's a great, great tool for everybody,
And having forums like this where Hans gets us all together, Hans, so we can talk to everybody and and talk about this. Thank you, Hans, once again.
Yes, thank you Hans, so much.
No,
It
thank
is.
you,
It's
thank
really
you,
great.
thank you. You're a big
It's
part of
great
that day.
because
Hey,
yeah, you do. You
Kirsten.
pull information from everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I'm planning to have also much later because now in Mexico the people are still sleeping. But on the day I will have some Spanish people talking. So I mean, there's time for every language, also German because I'm from Germany, you know. So I'm still waiting of a chemtrail expert from Germany to join. Werner Altnickel is very famous there. It's like the Russ Tanner, but from Germany.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and
Now, Kirsten's here. Hello,
yeah,
Kirsten.
let's say hello, Kirsten. Hello.
Hi, Kirsten.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're cursed with not being able to see the female speakers. That sucks.
So sorry.
Bunch of sweaty guys.
Much to the imagination.
You guys have what's that called? Blue girls or something like that?
I don't know.
Huh?
Guys get blue balls. Girls.
Oh, nice, nice.
Couldn't resist. So, what's your story, Kirsten? What you got on your mind?
Well, I don't know. I'm just listening into everything, and it's so funny because Maria is bringing up things that I've thought about and I've heard about, but I didn't realize they were so, the stock market and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But it's I don't know.
It's hard to believe, huh?
It is hard to believe. It's the more I hear about it, I guess it's not as hard to believe. And you can kind of pull information together from different resources that you're hearing different things from, and it all is making a lot of sense.
It does make sense, and they're different experiments. It's not one project, it's several projects that are going on, and it's
Right.
pinpointing each one, and you take one down, okay, now there's other ones that are left untouched by what you're trying to fight, and it's just, it's hard to sift through everything one by one and individualize everything, to kind of target where you want to go after and who you have to go after. It's like chasing a ghost,
Yeah.
It's
Welcome to
difficult.
my world. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we have a few pinpointed, and the government and Mr. Bill Gates is behind a lot of it too, which I just discovered, and being that he's funding a lot of the geoengineering and the weather modification and Monsanto, well, that goes hand in hand too. That's a whole different project.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
and it's the food, it's the air, it's it's the vaccines, it's all of these things. It's obviously the stock market. It's so many things looped into one that.
yeah. But when you do a trail and you go back to see where everything is going to, it affects us. That is the whole thing. Is it affects us on Earth? Somebody's getting a dollar on it, whether it be our illness, whether it be a catastrophe. It is our catastrophes and our health somebody's making a dollar on, and it needs to stop. Having control over everything, they can't do it anymore. And it seems every which way they move that they're being uncovered, which is a good thing. People are on it, and no sooner that something comes out or something's detected, people are on it. So that's good. Let's be the sores on their ass.
Yeah. Full of juice,
And
right?
I think they purposefully have unleashed all these things kind of at the same time to overwhelm people. It gets too scary, too big, too complicated, and then you also have all the geoengineering that makes people tired and fatigued, and they can't deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. So kind of done this all within the same decade or two, maybe the same decade or even a few years to overwhelm people. I think is part of it.
And it goes down to even, with the job market. People are working 2-3 jobs just to keep food on the table. They don't have time to research. They don't have time to go on Facebook. So keeping people sick and occupied, they count on that, Excuse me.
Which is
They
a
count
good
on
reason,
that.
which is a good reason for pushing people to use Russ's site as well, because it's off the Facebook platform.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Yes. There are people, I can't believe how many people don't look up.
I know.
yeah,
It is amazing.
for what I do for a living. That's an advantage. People don't look up. Yeah,
Right.
It's also it's been really amazing to me is to have learned what these people like Bill Gates or these other people like the Rockefellers, what they actually believe. One of their, I like sharing a lot of William Cooper's information. Are any of you familiar with him?
A little.
Okay.
I am a
Well,
little.
Okay. I have 42. I have 2 sets of radio broadcasts on one of my websites. One of us is 42 broadcasts, which I consider probably the most important ever. And then there's another set. And the 42 set is called Mystery Babylon. And he actually reads, most of what the broadcast is him reading from their own literature. And to me, it's absolutely fascinating, because when you get in their heads and you see what they believe, you start to understand what drives them. I'm not saying it's justified, it's horrible, but you start to understand the deception that they're under, that drives their selfishness. But it's all straight from their own literature. And if anybody's ever interested in that, they can go to orbisvitae.com. It's Orbis with a B, Orbis, that stands, it's like Latin for circle, O-R-B-I-S. Vitae, V-I-T-A-E, it's Latin for life, so circle of life, orbisvitae.com. And you see, scroll down the home page, and you'll see a couple pictures of William Cooper. The first one is the Mystery Babylon series, and I just wish everybody would take the time. It's time consuming, but every Saturday, sit down for an hour, listen to a couple broadcasts, and by the end, after a couple months, you will begin and I know Robert stepped away for a minute.
What was that website again?
Sure, it's Orbis, O-R-B like boy, I-S, Orbis, Vitae, V like Victor, I-T like Tom, A-E.com, orbisvitae.com. Circle of Life is what it means. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's
Great.
Yeah. And if you go into the forum section there's hundreds and hundreds of videos there.
La nueva botella de Pepsi está
Right now there's about
rifadísima. Tanto
between
que hace.
800 to 1,000 people that are unique visitors per day going there. So it's getting some traffic. So it's kind of cool to see people, getting exposed to some of that.
Yeah, I think that's important too. I mean, how do you, it's just like catching a criminal. You have to have that criminal mind to go after them, You have to think on their level to understand where they're coming from before you can tap into their world and go after them.
Exactly.
I think that's important.
Exactly. I've been very lucky because I worked with a political party for a couple of years. And I was right in the information center. I did volunteer work, and then after a couple of things that I went through, I actually was, especially Cooper. If you listen to Cooper reading their philosophies and how they do things, you start to watch the news differently. It actually begins to really make sense. The deception. You start seeing the news stories and how they word the stories that actually will make people who are uninformed have a certain opinion. It's like they don't always tell you what to think. They tell you, or they shape a story in such a way so that you draw your own conclusion. And once you get that information and that foundation there, it's absolutely amazing that it makes sense. You watch the news in a completely different way, and you start watching it not to get
Right.
news, but to read between the lines and understand what they're up to.
Yes.
I hear that. I totally agree.
Yes, I agree also. You know, I just stopped. I always say I watch the news for entertainment purposes. I never watch for the actual news, because it's just, yeah, you know, when you do your own research and find out, especially with, you know, when it comes to things in the Middle East, you know, I like to hop on Facebook and find people that are actually out there living it, and then ask what's going on, or get on the Al Jazeera newspaper and find out what's happening there. You know, it's funny, the whole world knows more about us than we do.
Yeah.
You know, because they're taught the truth. You know, and it's sad. And people will argue with you and tell you you're crazy, you're a communist. But you know what? I know the truth, and I know what's real. And I don't care. I come across people all the time that go heads up with me, and you know what? That's fine. I always tell them, really, how much research have you done? And they just, you know, they'll shut up. And I say, yeah, because you're just watching mainstream media that is bought and that it's fed to you, you know. And always people go, well, I never heard that on the news. And I just laugh. I'm like, oh, God, here we go again.
Yeah, exactly.
The famous line.
Exactly. I had a guy, an employee a few years ago who was very open to the information I was sharing with him, because he was in the Marines for a few years, and he was in the Middle East, and they often would sit around and watch television. They would have televisions from different countries, and they would watch the news from different countries, and he was just like, they spin the stories for the country that I'm giving the news to.
Mhm.
And it's completely different. The facts are different, the numbers are different, you know,
Yes.
and that made him much more open to the information that I was sharing with him.
Mhm. Oh yeah, you know, I have a high volume of military that does come into my work, and I work in a barber shop, and I couldn't tell you how many of those people in the military, once they've got out, have turned a whole new leaf and are actually pissed off, because now all of a sudden they've learned the truth, and they don't. It's hard to, you know, to accept things when you've lived a life of, you know, a lie. 43 years I've been alive, and I come to find out every freaking thing I've known is a lie. That is very mind troubling, and it will make you break down. That I tell people, you'll have a breakdown. Don't get me wrong, I did. I cried for 2 weeks straight. I was losing my freaking mind, and I said, oh, holy shit, I'm still here. And I'm more empowered for it, and I'm going on, and I'm pushing forward. And I tell people, it's okay. You know, things are what they are. We live through it, and more people are aware. You know, you'll go through it, and you'll be fine. You'll live. You know, you lived with the lie your whole life. You can live with the truth.
Right.
You know, it's a great thing in the end, and you know, guiding people through it. And I don't think people come to our page or to Russ's page, you know, by mistake. They're guided there for a reason. Either they're looking for the truth, or they're being guided along the way for a reason, and they will find it. You know, there are so many people, you know, I said there's people who argue with me, but I can't tell you the volume of people also from 80 years old down to 11 years old who have started talking to me about these issues, and I'm going, holy shit, where's this coming from? You know, it's remarkable how many people are opening their eyes to, you know, what we're being told is not real. You know,
Absolutely.
and to hear stories about people in the military that were in their 80s and the experiments they went through. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
You know.
Are you hearing the same or experiencing the same kind of things, Kirsten?
As far as people waking up,
Yeah.
yes and no. It's a slow process, I think, with a lot of the people that I run across. But I don't get convinced to it, because it took me a while to really put all the pieces together. And I look at it this way: they cannot unhear what I've said. And so, if 2, 3, 5 years down the road, if they start putting the pieces together themselves, at least they heard what I said. And, you know, if they wake up, they wake up. If they don't, well,
Right.
I did my part.
And I think they do. And I've had people tell me, you're wasting your time with people. They're never going to change. And I've said, you know what? That I don't believe that. It's a seed you plant in somebody's head. And with that seed, it may bloom tomorrow. It may bloom a year down the line. But those words that I said will never come out of their head. And I firmly believe that, and I've seen it work.
Absolutely. And one of the, I love quoting people who are in power or have been in power to help wake up the public that this is real, that disinformation is real, the deception is real. And for instance, you have William Colby, who is the former director of the CIA, who said, the CIA owns everyone of any significance in the major media. I love it when you get the quotes and information, just like Cooper shares, directly from their own literature, directly. Here's another one from a staff meeting in 1981. He said, "We'll know." This is William Casey, CIA director, another CIA director, who said, "We will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." That's an amazing statement.
Yes, that really is. It really is.
It's like you just said it a minute ago. You said almost everything, all this stuff you had believed forever was wrong, right?
Yes, everything. Everything was a lie from, and it's funny because I grew up in a hardcore Catholic household, and even as a child, I mean, I was their worst nightmare in Catholic school. Because it was, but why? And show me, and prove to me, and oh my goodness, was I always in trouble, but I knew from a very young age, they were just handing me a crock of shit, and it wasn't because I was being defiant, I wasn't being, blasphemous, I wanted to know the truth, and, I have found the truth, and I know what that truth is, and I would not try to sway somebody away from their faith, but I say, when they tell you walk by faith and not by sight, there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
It's a way to keep people controlled, and you shut your mouth and you don't question anything, and that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Catholic Church, when you really dig down inside, it's really a leg of the New World Order.
Yes, it is.
It's an ancient part of it that has been like one of the three legs. You have the economic control, you have the down for a long time, because this is a multi-generational conspiracy. They've been working for a single world government literally for centuries.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes they have, and yes, they are the ugly element that they are part of the key. They really are, and they are a lot more than people realize that they are. And I think people are starting to discover their ugliness, and I think it's about to bust open. And I think they're crapping their pants.
And what's
along
amazing,
with our government.
another amazing thing is that the Bible itself actually calls out the Catholic Church and actually says, talks about the corruption and the future destruction of the power center that lays on the city of Seven Hills. Well, what is the city of Seven Hills? That's Rome.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Rome. So it actually there's a lot more to this behind this, but it actually calls out the Catholic Church in many ways, and that's one of the very interesting predictions about the future destiny of that belief system. There's a very different belief system behind what they show. There's a thin veneer of Christianity on the outside, but behind it, there's something very, very different.
Yes, there is something very different behind it, most definitely. And if you even take the Bible itself, I tell people, if you can work your way through it to try to find the very first Bible that was written in English, which was by John Wycliffe, and it is very different from the Bible that came after. It was King Henry, I believe it was, that wrote the first English Bible after Wycliffe,
Right.
and the Pope, and it was all because they didn't want to lose their power, so they tweaked it the way they wanted it, and then they published it to the masses. But Wycliffe's Bible really is a different version. There is no Revelations. It's called Armageddon.
There's Freemason interference in that rewriting as well. I've been studying
Yes.
Freemasonry and Skull and Bones and
Yes.
the secret societies for the last 2 weeks in depth.
Yes, and also with their whole suppressing the women, that a woman should be submissive to her husband.
Of course
In the
she's-
very first,
Of course she is. What's wrong with you?
you guys would just love that. But no, in the original, very first Bible by John Wycliffe, the first translation ever, it does not say that in there. And it's just so many things that you could see that were changed along the way, and it's just, and even before that, who knows?
What's that?
People really need to question that, and do a little bit of research, because it's not it's not what it's all meant, supposed to be. It's not all truth.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I did discover is that the Bible's been an object of fascination for me for many years, and I started getting into it because I started seeing. I got into numerology. I got into the prophecies and stuff like that, because that's really, I like evidence. I like to see evidence and
Yes.
stuff like this. And I did find some very fascinating things. Like today, the NIV, there's a lot of translations, and without going into detail, the translations, like, for instance, Rupert Murdoch, you know who he is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch actually owned or owns, I don't know if he has sold it off or not, the rights to the NIV translation of the Bible. Now, why would, yeah, there's a great lecture on the Orbis Vitae website. If you go into the forum, there's a Bible forum, and there's a lecture by Gail Riplinger that actually talks about the corruption in the modern Bible translations. And it's absolutely incredible, because this woman does her research, and she finds out some of the people who are the translators were actually members of Lucis Trust. Now, Lucis Trust was the organization that I believe was founded by Annie Besant, who followed Helena Petrova Blavatsky. And it was originally the publishing company called Lucifer Trust. Now, yeah, and the new Catholic telescope is called Lucifer, but that's another story. But anyway, what's really interesting is that in many of these, like you got the ASB and the NIV, they
La nueva
omitted a
botella de
whole
Pepsi
bunch of
está
scriptures from
rifa.
these Bibles.
Yeah, about
And-
two-thirds of them. Is that right?
Well, not 2/3. If you
One-third.
get in, well, if you look at the NIV, for instance, you'll see, you can actually see where the verses are missing, and it's not a number like a third of the Bible or anything like that. It's like in any given book you might be missing 10 verses or 15 verses, and they're always geared. The interesting thing is they're always geared towards certain subjects. Now, yeah, so they're cleansing it. They're trying to get stuff out of there they don't like. And in my fascination, I've come across a lot of things over the years. I've been very, very fascinated by this. If you look at Revelation 18:23,
Right.
there's a verse in there that says, "For your medication, for by your medication." Actually, no. Let me. That's not it. Let me. Let me. Yeah. That's what I want. Yeah, it is 18:23. It says, "For your merchants were the
Yeah.
great men of the earth, for by your sorcery all the nations were deceived." Now, if you the context of this, prediction. This is a prediction of what's going to take place in the world shortly before the second return of Christ. Okay, that's the context of this verse. If you look at language, it says for your merchants actually means wholesalers or manufacturers. Okay, were the great men. The word great means powerful. Doesn't mean good. It means powerful.
Yes.
So your manufacturers, like your corporations, were the powerful men of the earth, for by your sorcery, all the nations were deceived. So the Bible actually, near the end of this age, before the return of Christ, that there will be a massive global deception. And the method by which people received is sorcery. Now, if you look up the Greek word sorcery, what is that word actually in the original language? It's the word pharmakia, which
I thought it translated to Project Beam. Sorry.
The word sorcery is pharmakia, which is how we get our word pharmaceutical. It means to drug, or it means to drug or poison. And when I started finding things like this, because they're all through there, it's really, really amazing. It kept me going. You know, I kept looking at more things and more things. But I think chemtrails, when people started becoming aware of GMOs, they try to avoid them. Of course, they're not labeled yet here. People start avoid fluoridated water. People are getting their amalgam fillings out. And so I was looking at this saying, how are they going to poison and drug everybody so that they can't think straight? How are they going to do this? And then when chemtrails came, I was like, that's the way they're going to. That makes sense.
And it's funny because when I started going through all researching, and back ahead, the Indians kept on coming to my head. And like this flash, and I kept on going, what is the significance of the Indians? Why do they keep coming in my head? Well, then you read about what, their whole, writings and prophecies and stuff also, and they talk about them spraying the skies also.
Yeah, I remember about
No, go ahead.
No, I had read things about that, about the webs in the sky or something like that.
Yeah, and
webs in the sky.
Yeah, and so they write about it also. And then as I started reading it more on the whole December 21st, and it's not the end of the world, but it's going to be this whole big change, and just everything just started clicking. Everything from the chemtrails to the corporations, the Illuminati, the secret society, everything just started making sense to me. Everything is intertwined, and like you say, in the Bible too, whether it's been put there as a code from whoever's written it, or if it is actual prophecy, I don't know, but it's all there. You can't dispute it. It's in our faces. People need to just wake up. They need to, if they doubt it, research it. Take 5 minutes of your time during break, during lunch, everybody's got a phone with the internet on it. Get on there and put in some keywords. Search it. It's not difficult.
Don't take the first thing you find either, because a lot of things, nothing is out there by accident. I found the chemtrail patents. You think that's there by accident? Oops, we accidentally issued chemtrail patents. So you got to sift through what's valid.
That's a lot like the document Owning the Weather by 2025. I always tell people, I say, why did the government expose a top secret plan to control the weather to the public?
Because
why would they do that?
Because it's old.
Right, because this is a disinformation technique that they're using with chemtrails. They pretend they're going to expose something they're doing in the future, but they're really doing it right now.
All technology, everything that's out there is between 20 and 30 years behind whatever is being found, or whatever our knowledge is. I had a gentleman who was a computer programmer for the government, and he worked on a bunch of top secret, computers and software. And he told me it would blow my mind if I knew what was actually out there. And he's the one that our technology, everything that you see right now is about 20 to 30 years old.
My love
You know?
from you is about 20 to 30 years too late, huh?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I cannot help myself, guys.
I know. But yeah, so yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Whatever we find on the internet and, from the Department of Defense documents, from everything that's there, they already are way past that, and they're on to the next. It's already implemented. It's kind of no soon, when you think of something, it's already been executed somewhere else. If you have an idea, somebody's already executed that idea somewhere.
I knew a military guy. I knew a military guy who did some level of classified work. He wasn't real high up with electronics in the military. He said 1973, if I remember the year right, they had drawers full of 386, 486 Intel processors. They were building computer boards, those processors that were not introduced to the public until years later. But I agree with you. The 30 years in advance, if not more.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Definitely.
I used to work on with a special secret clearance. Yes, there is such a thing on cryptographic communication. So the stuff we used back in 84 to 88, it's just some of that stuff has just been out in the last 10 years. Actually, it was behind coming out. Stuff that I worked with, and suddenly you see it. Look at this new innovative, and I'm like, I did that.
Yeah.
There's nitinol. Have you heard about nitinol?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the nickel titanium alloy, where when you create it in a certain shape at a certain temperature, change the temperature. You can it's pliable. You can change its shape, and then when it goes back to its manufacturing temperature, it retains its original shape. This stuff, I found this stuff in books, in these science books from like the 70s, and they were talking about how it was going to revolutionize this and revolutionize that. Now all you can do is find a couple YouTube videos that talk about it. But it's
that sounds like something that a guy could use as a prosthetic if he's got problems and can't take Viagra. You could
just heat it up and it changes shape, and it's back to normal temperature. It goes back down.
Yeah.
There's a theme with Robert here tonight, isn't there?
I'm so sorry, Hans.
Just great. I mean,
Hans, what's your rating on this show? Is that why I'm this at night, Hans?
Okay, because of the time now.
I just think in male aesthetics. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Would be nice if the
guys,
people...
I'm gonna have to say good night.
Yeah.
I have an early morning tomorrow, so I want to thank you for having me on, guys.
You can come back later, no problem. I will be there for many hours more. Like 24 hours is the whole stream here, so whenever you're awakened and ready, just join again if you want. No problem.
I will. Thank you so much, Hans.
Thank
good night,
you.
Robert. Good night, Russ. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Maria.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Bye-bye, guys.
Okay. Just
Kirsten's spying on us.
Yeah.
I'm getting some extra paperwork done for.
Yeah.
Here.
Is anybody having sleep issues for nighttime? I am all out of whack. It's like a 4 o'clock in the morning before I can lay down and sleep, and it drives me crazy. But I'm up, at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So that's not enough sleep. But
yeah, Andrew Cutler's book, Amalgam Illness Diagnosis Treatment, actually named shifted circadian rhythm as one of the symptoms of mercury toxicity.
Russ, I'm gonna die. You gotta help me.
Just get those amalgams out by a dentist who knows what he's doing. That's the first step.
That's
How much money is that to do that?
Well, it varies a lot from dentist to dentist. For me, in 2000, it was $270 for big fillings, $190 for the small, tiny ones, and it was a $250 consultation. I imagine it's quite a bit more now.
I think I'm just gonna ski. I'm just gonna ski down a rocky mountain and let my teeth rattle together. I don't know, man.
No, well, you don't do it. Don't do it all in one shot. You don't want to do it all in one shot.
Oh, yes, I
You got
do.
to do it over several. No, you can't. You
No,
can't
you give me
possibly
gas,
because
I'll lay
it's
there.
so much.
You know what?
It's so much mercury being. You're being exposed to so much mercury. If you do, it's toxic, and a good dentist will not do it.
Huh. Uh,
Yeah,
I did the same thing. I had like 16 or 17 removed. What, in 2099? In 99, I had them, throughout the year, I had them all removed.
in the Marine Corps,
And
they just gave me shots and gas and cracked all 4 wisdom teeth and dug them out, ripped them out. I just figured I'd get the fillings done the same way, but I'll take your advice.
yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, to back up what she said, is that 50% of the people that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to hundreds of people over the years about this, percent who called me back after getting their fillings removed by a dentist who was not properly trained had within days or weeks developed a chronic degenerative disease afterward.
What kind of disease?
Fibromyalgia, multiple chemical sensitivity, environmental sensitivity,
yes.
chronic shaking, you name it, all kinds of neurological problems. When you have them removed, they've got to be removed safely. Otherwise, you can have big trouble.
All right.
And after that, it's the proper way to do it. After that is to go through a metal detox with a doctor that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, that's something that that's my field right there. That's what I've been dealing with for a long time. You got to be careful. You don't want to detox too fast.
Nope. I had myself, how I got involved in all of that was I had multiple chemical sensitivities and multiple food sensitivities, and that was the course that kind of got me on this path and thinking and seeing clearly, but it didn't take long. Once those things were out and my body was detoxed from all these metals and the garbage food that I was eating throughout my life.
Mm-hmm. I have I have a sensitivity to foreign women.
Now you had 16 fillings, Kirsten?
I had 16 or 17.
That's a lot. Oh.
Yeah.
One thing, there was an article that came out in mainstream news, which I had heard about a couple of years earlier. That they came out publicly with it to save their thin veil of integrity. That 48% of dentists place fillings that are not necessary. As a kid, I remember the dentist sticking his little stainless steel hook in my molars, and he would find one where when he pulls it out, it kind of was a little tiny bit sticky, like the enamel was a little bit soft down in the middle, and he would go, "Oh, we got a cavity," and he would go through them.
Who's gonna second guess him, right?
Exactly. And so now I have known people who are business owners who were bartering services with their dentist. Their dentist was throwing all kinds of fillings in their kids' mouths. And finally she got suspicious, went to another, this is a friend of mine in Jamestown, she went to another a dentist. He says, there's no cavity.
So what's interesting about that is I took my 6-year-old to my dentist last month or the month before, and she had a cavity the month before, and when you talked about stuck the metal thing in there, and she said, you know what, this one will not grow into a cavity. This is just temporary, and it will harden up. So what you're saying is true. It will harden. Some of those can harden right back over.
So as a kid, your teeth are softer?
I don't know exactly what it was. I didn't get into the detail of what it was. I just, I was busy doing something and she was explaining it to me and I went, oh, okay, that makes sense. But it didn't really click until you just said that, you go into the dentist and they want to, you know, make some money on doing fillings. I mean, I had 16 or 17 as a kid.
Oh.
Exactly.
And diagnosed with ADD or ADHD and all of those behavioral issues. I couldn't think straight. That mercury was so close to the brain, I couldn't think straight. The minute that those things were out, I was thinking and learning, and everything became so much clearer.
Exactly. Been there. That happened. That same thing that happened to me when I was at my worst point in 2000. When I was on a phone call with a client, I couldn't remember their name. I would have to have a word processor open with me on the computer and take notes about the conversation because I couldn't remember their name. It was absolutely crazy. After the fillings came out, my memory came back within 6 months. I felt like I had a computer attached to my head. I could remember movie star names, the dates they were born, all kinds of things. And then, of course, in 2005, after 5 years of incredible bliss, healthiness, and incredible memory, and sleeping incredibly well, when they started spraying chemtrails, all this stuff started coming back. All the same symptoms returned.
God.
Yeah, to think of the trouble and the suffering that Kirsten and so many other people, myself, have been through, how it's changed our lives because dentists were making some extra money.
I got admitted to a children's psych ward at 6 years old and dumped off there for hyperactivity after all my fillings got. Well, I had some baby teeth, I guess, but I still had fillings going in 7 or 8. And children's psych ward, and they at that Chalk Hospital of Orange County, and also then got discharged from there, and then I got dumped in a foster home. This is my stepfather, they put all the fillings in. So I was on Ritalin as a kid. It's probably all because of this mercury, huh?
And I was diagnosed as, 11 years old with ADD, and I'm so thankful for my parents never putting me on medication, ever. They let me make that decision as, I grew into an adult, and I did go on the medication for probably about 3 months period of time, and it was insanity. And then I went back to my naturopathic doctor and did another chemical detox, metal detox. And since then, I've been clear again. But I know in the last couple of weeks, they've been spraying massively. And I'm going through this thing where I cannot remember. I'll have it on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot pull the information out. And
that's right.
I know that it's coming from the air because I'm outside all day.
Yeah. I'm right with you. I talked earlier that I feel very strongly that at least 2 of the chemtrail types contain mercury, because I'm having all the symptoms of mercury poisoning, very specific symptoms that are associated with mercury when they spray 2 particular common types of chemtrails. And not being able to remember is one of the symptoms, one of the many symptoms. When I was younger, somebody could be talking to me. My mind would just spin, and they would talk to me. In the middle of the sentence, my mind was drifting off somewhere. I had to work so hard to focus. When the mercury came out, and that went on all my life, I could not focus. It was so hard. Amazing that I did the things I did with my mind spinning and hyper and just looping the way it did. When I had my fillings out, all of that went away overnight. This was before chemtrails were being sprayed on our area, and it was the ringing in the ears, the looping thoughts, the inability to concentrate. When I was reading a programming book, like I'd teach myself a new programming language, I would read a paragraph 4-5 times before I could finish it and comprehend what I read. When the fillings came out, I'd read it, totally understand it, and rip right on to the next one. All the difference in the world.
Absolutely. Same here. It's
Well,
amazing.
I just located that poster that we had in there earlier that was saying all that trash. Was a member of our groups. Not anymore. Sorry.
Hey,
Bye bye.
hey, I wonder something a little bit on talking about Mercury, but a little bit out on the fringe here. Does anybody know what the symbol of modern medicine is?
The symbol, it's
Right.
it's the snake,
Yeah.
isn't it? The snake and the scepter or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody know what that actually is?
Isn't that an
No
Illuminati
idea.
symbol of some sort, or is that
Yeah.
far back as biblical? I thought it was maybe Illuminati serpent. What is
That
it?
that and this all ties together. This is again, this stuff is unbelievably fascinating. How that is the symbol of the Roman god named Mercury.
Oh wow!
It is
Interesting.
if you look at statues or illustrations, and I put a link to it on the chat. It didn't turn into a link, unfortunately. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, I put a link on that in case anybody wants to see it. That symbol has the two wings on it and the snake coming up. If you look at pictures, that's the staff of Mercury, the staff of the Roman god Mercury, with the two wings and the snake coming up. In Greek, they were known as Hermes.
Hermes.
Mm-hmm.
I just found the chat after all this time. That's how retarded I am.
Those fillings.
There's a lot of questions in here. It's my feelings. Yes, thank you.
Unfortunately, since I work with a lot of people with detoxing since chemtrails started, detoxing mercury has become a very slow process. Beforehand, people were having overnight recoveries like I did, miraculous recoveries, and now that we're under chemtrails, it's a long, slow process for most people. It's worth it, but it's slow going.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple questions I copied from the chat box too. That somebody asked about what physical symptoms do you get from the fillings? Let me. Well, go ahead, Kirsten.
Russ, I used to think Russ was reading the answer, but he knows it. It was weird to watch you say all that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes read when I'm on here just to make sure I'm getting it right because my mind is not at 100% with the spraying.
It didn't look like you were. I'm saying you were just talking without reading. I was like, my God, he has it all that down. I was pretty impressed.
Oh.
I didn't really have any physical symptoms from having the amalgams removed. But as far as I understand, the no concentration ability to concentrate is like virtually impossible.
Yeah.
But as far as symptoms, I really didn't have any, because I think that I had a good dentist that did it proper.
I think they were asking what symptoms you actually had from the fillings themselves. Like what changed after your
That's a good question. That's a good question. Well, I could think clearly. I could think at a normal speed. My mind wasn't racing. I could follow instructions. That was one of the biggest things. You get a bookshelf and you're going to put it together. And being able to read the instructions and follow them was like night and day. I could actually do it. I don't know how else to explain it. It sounds so minimal, but when your mind is racing so fast, I don't know. That was one of the biggest things. Or a book. I had the exact same experience. Most of my learning started after I got the amalgams out because my mind was racing so fast. Yep.
Totally relate to what you're saying. My business partner Laura and I have been friends for decades. We went into business after knowing each other for a while. We both got sick with mercury amalgams. We both had them removed at the same time. Her symptoms were largely emotional. Mine, and only a little bit physical. Mine were mostly physical and only partly emotional, although I did have very big depression and some other emotional issues. But hers were mostly emotional. Physical symptoms, to answer that question, and this was back a little while ago in the chat. I just copied them down, so I was reading that, Robert.
Yeah. Oh, I just discovered that what I'm posting in our on the Skype is showing up over here on Ustream. Is that right, guys?
No, I'm not seeing it on Ustream actually.
Oh, good. Okay, go ahead, Russ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. The symptoms I had were weight gain. And I was in great shape to the point where people would comment to me on it. And I started having uncontrollable weight gain. I couldn't do anything about it. I just started gaining weight. Of course, I had depression from the mercury. My hair was thinning, especially the last 5 years. And of course, that's because of elevated dihydrotestosterone. Tremendous fatigue, terrible constipation. That's usually associated with, the fatigue is associated with mercury inhibiting T3 production, your TSH, which is your thyroid signaling hormone. Also blocking iodine, so you become iodine starved, your thyroid starves. Constipation, usually associated with mercury, blocks the utilization of magnesium, and so you get constipated. What were you going to say, Robert?
No, nothing.
I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were going to say
going through my nightmare over here. No worries.
Okay. All right, hang in there. Candida was horrible. My candida, which manifested in like itchy redness underarms, I controlled it and let me just reiterate, between 1995 and 2000 was when my bucket became full and my mercury symptoms skyrocketed. The candida problem got worse year by year. In the first few years, I was able to control it by eating yogurt because of the probiotics in the yogurt. Last couple of years, it was absolutely uncontrollable. It was kind of nightmarish. Anxiety, I had terrible anxiety, hyperactivity, mind spinning, looping, songs spinning in your head, inability to follow instructions, like Kirsten said. Insomnia it took me 2 hours a night to get to sleep. And if I woke up in the middle of the night, I couldn't get back to sleep. Woke up feeling worse than I went to bed. Low blood sugar all the time. And of course, the mercury interferes with your liver's ability to regulate blood sugar. Immune weakness. Of course, mercury is an immune suppressant. Ringing the ears, which is called tinnitus. I described earlier how I believe mercury is an excitotoxin for those cells in your ear that convert the vibrations into electrical signals and eventually kills them, which is why seniors who get dentures lose their hearing first. Usually, tingling in the hands and feet became a real irritation. Feeling hot all the time. I had to have a window air conditioner set to its coldest setting in my room. That way that's the only way I could possibly get to sleep. Some people's thyroids, some people go hot, some people go cold. My business partner was cold all the time. I was hot all the time. The day after our fillings were removed, we both normalized. She got warmer and I got cooler dramatically. I mean, I turned my AC from 64 degrees up to 72 overnight.
Oh my God.
It was dramatic, absolutely dramatic. Remember, this was before chemtrails. Grinding my teeth at night. Grinding teeth is caused by two things, based on my research. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you do it too. Okay. Grinding teeth, again, a magnesium issue because mercury blocks magnesium, and then magnesium is what your muscles use to relax. So if you're low on magnesium, your muscles are tight, which is why you can be constipated. You can have chronic headaches, migraines, muscle twitching, muscle cramps when you don't have magnesium. Magnesium is also used for ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy molecule. So it also contributes to things like fibromyalgia. So mercury blocks magnesium. And when your magnesium is not available because mercury is blocking it, you'll find that mercury toxic people usually have elevated blood calcium. And the reason for that is because your body uses magnesium in order to utilize calcium. If magnesium is not available, then your calcium, you have free calcium floating around that can't be utilized. So you can also get degenerative bone diseases because even though you have magnesium, it can't be utilized because you're having a magnesium deficiency. My teeth grinding was so bad that I would wake up with blood in my mouth every morning.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was life was really bad. Oily skin. I talked about my skin normally isn't oily. I have very normal skin and not dry, not wet, just nice and normal. But in high testosterone people, the DHT, dihydrotestosterone, is elevated when mercury is present, and that causes oily skin, loss of hair. Women become more muscular and they grow hair, more hair. Men become more muscular and become aggressive and lose their hair on their head.
I got my ex-fiance shaving with my razor and my shaving cream. Yeah, maybe that's something. Keep going.
Well, that's how mercury affects men and women a little differently in that respect. So that's the oily skin because of the dihydrotestosterone, the hair loss. Sweating while I sleep. Sweating started off as a mild thing and became so serious that I literally would wake up and the sheets were wet, just wet, that I was on. Heartburn. I got horrible heartburn the last 5 years while my mercury bucket became full, to the point that I had a hydrochloric hydrochloric acid supplement, because really heartburn is a low acid condition. And when I did that, 9 times out of 10 I could get rid of the heartburn. But if I did not, it didn't matter what I ate. Even the safest foods created horrible heartburn. That was gone overnight 100%. I could eat anything in the heartburn. I had none whatsoever the day after my amalgams were removed. Cracking joints. With chemtrails, I can sit here and crack my knuckles. You probably can't hear them on the microphones here. My knuckles cracked so bad they started to hurt. They started to get kind of enlarged a little bit. You could see the beginning of what looked like might be arthritis.
This finger.
Yeah?
Yeah, all sore all the time now. All sore, the joint.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it might be gout. I don't know, but I just started doing it this month.
Right. The cracking joints, and you have diseases like arthritis that form because mercury binds to sulfur, and your joints have to have sulfur. So you become sulfur deficient, and you have cartilage, tendon, and ligament degeneration that results from that. So the cracking joints were gone overnight after my amalgam was removed. Tight and twitching muscles I covered. That's a magnesium issue that's induced by mercury. Poor memory I talked about a few minutes ago. Memory was incredibly poor. Shyness, fear of commitment, fear of confrontation, apathy about personal issues. If people stole stuff from me, I was like, oh, so what? I just had apathy. I was very apathetic about my own personal things, belongings. Short attention span, very hard to focus, poor reading comprehension, and more. So that's my quick list. There's more to that, but those are the main things that went away either immediately or over the next 7 albums were removed.
That's either my behaviors or that's symptoms. Got it, man. So many things on there. Wow.
I truly believe that mercury has completely changed our culture. It changes people's sense of humor. It changes the way people process information. And that's part of the dumbing down. I read from the Bible, the Revelation 18:23, that talks about the people drugged and poisoned, and that's how the nations will be deceived. And chemtrails and the heavy metals, the aluminum, the barium, and what I believe mercury makes you fatigued, tired, can't think, can't concentrate, your memory's bad. This is all dumbing people down, making you apathetic, too tired to go protest or to call your senator, feelings of hopelessness. All this stuff is being used to overwhelm people. And I believe it's 100% intentional. There's no accident here. They've known what mercury does to people for many decades.
Aren't there a lot of other options besides mercury for your teeth?
Absolutely.
Many, yeah.
Like what? What do you know?
Ceramic. That's what I have is ceramic. It's, enamel colored ceramic. Or gold. Even gold is better than the amalgam.
With this economy, I wouldn't want gold in my mouth.
Well, it's really
Don't smile.
Yeah.
It's really not mostly gold. Most of the new filling types you can get fall into categories. There's the ceramic porcelains, which are aluminum based. The good thing about the ceramic and porcelain is that they leach very, very little. They're strong. They have a lot of integrity. They don't leach much metal. The only bad part is aluminum, and aluminum is generally not good. This is no perfect filling material. The other class is methylates. Super glue is acetylcrylate. So the methylcrylates are actually like one little tiny atom away from super glue. So it's like a resin that's made from super glue. The good part of it is they're hard. They have a lot of integrity. They're strong. The downside to those is they are a little bit tough on the kidneys. They kind of just a little bit stress the kidneys over time. Nothing compared to mercury. None of these are anything close to mercury. The other class is GMAs, the bisphenols. You've heard a lot about this in the baby bottles, the bisphenol plastics, which are estrogenic. They increase the estrogen production in the body. They feed estrogen-based cancers.
Hyperfeminized men, or feminized men and hyperfeminized women.
There you go. That's another class of them. And then, yep, that's another class of fillings, and that's their pros and cons. The last one, major class, is the gold, which is really largely copper. There's not too much good about those. The bad part is that copper actually reacts with mercury and makes it more available in the body. In fact, what happens with, well, that's not directly what happens, but what happens today is that in the last 20 years, the amalgam manufacturers have increased the amount of copper that they put into amalgam fillings, because amalgam fillings contain copper and mercury. They're a mixture. They're an alloy of a few different metals. Now, the more copper you put into an amalgam filling, the amount of off-gassing of mercury decreases dramatically. So the children who are getting amalgams in the last 20 years were off in older amalgams that were low copper amalgams. Yeah. So it's everything. That's one thing I say to my business partner about the world every day. What's wrong? Everything. What's wrong? Everything. You just run away screaming, everything, everything.
Go steal some federal land and put a fence up and claim my stake and go live out in the woods somewhere with a fishing pole, knife, and a gun. That's what I'm going to do. You don't know how close I am to doing that.
Get those fillings out first.
I do.
Though.
Yeah. If it wasn't my teeth, I would carve it out till I don't care if it's to the bone. But my teeth,
yeah, that's torture. Literally.
Teeth, eyeballs, and Adam's apple. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'd rather be kicked in the, yeah.
There's another question on there that asked, what were the colored clouds that everybody's being in the sky lately?
Rainbow ones? The rainbow spots?
Yep.
All I can speculate is their petroleum reflecting back, petroleum-based products reflecting the sun's light, much like an oil spot would do that on water. That's just an analytical, personal opinion. I have not gone up to sample one. Russ?
I agree with you. I believe, because I can smell and taste chemtrails, I can give you this observation. Those phenomenon, along with the sundogs, those halos that appear around the sun, and also the spheres that appear around lights at night, the halos that appear around like street lights and in movies. Well, those phenomenon all occur only in the presence of the two types of chemtrails that cause mercury symptoms. I hypothesize, it's just my guess, again, I sample, but based on putting pieces of the puzzle together, I think that because they want to drop mercury on people, because mercury has been a $100 billion disease-causing machine for the 20th century and made the pharmaceuticals the second largest industry behind oil, which Rockefeller controls both of these. And by the way, the oil industry became big, and this isn't a book by David Bloom, because the Rockefeller family pushed the ban on alcohol in the early part of the 20th century, prohibition was not about helping people. It was about eliminating the 50% of Model T cars or the other cars that Ford was producing that ran on alcohol. And they didn't like that because you can make your own alcohol, but they want you to gas instead because that was the Rockefellers' business.
Right around when they removed the train tracks that used to run where all the freeways run now, like for California, for example, we had train tracks where all the freeways are now. Remove the trains, then you have to buy cars with the rubber and the oil and all that. Is that about the same time?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the time. That whole thing about the prohibition is outlined in a great book by David Bloom that's called Alcohol Can Be a Gas, and it's he gets a lot into the conspiratorial side and documents how we would have had a nation running on alcohol, and you would have had mom and pop stores producing their own alcohol because alcohol is not hard to make. Anybody can make it, and there would have been anybody could have done it, but they wanted to sell gasoline instead because you can't make gas. So it was really a ploy to move everybody into petroleum. But getting back to the thing about, sorry, I got on the tangent there, but the petroleum-looking spots in the sky. This is just my hypothesis because it's associated with the acetone and the blunt metallic type chemtrails, the two types that cause mercury symptoms. Those phenomenon are only associated with those two halos. Mercury is extremely difficult to distribute because at room temperature, it turns into a gas. It off-gases, just like your amalgam filling is off-gassing in your mouth. According to the CDC, 3 to 17 micrograms per day, 24 hours a day. And that's very conservative. That's the old low copper ones. We don't know what the ones today are doing. But it's very hard to deliver mercury because it's liquid at room temperature, and it gasifies itself. It off-gases. So you have to have a delivery system that's going to make it stick. How are you going to do that? I have a hypothesis that they're using a petroleum product, some sort, as a distribution mechanism for the mercury. It's just a hypothesis, but so far I haven't seen anything that opposes it. If I do, then I'll withdraw my hypothesis, but to me right now it makes the most sense.
Sorry.
So I agree with you, Robert. I think it's what we're seeing, those oil slicks in the sky, I call them, they look just like if you put oil in a puddle on the ground and you see this.
La nuova bottiglia di Pepsi è una ciullata.
Okay. I'm looking at some of our test results just to see the mercury levels right now. I'm just curious.
Now, the thing about mercury, I'll tell you, is mercury has not been showing up, because I talked to the Bureau of Air Quality in Maine, and it's not showing up in rainwater tests. Well, if they're using oil as a distribution mechanism, then the rain gauges, the rain devices that collect the rain, and this is what they told me, this is right from the Bureau of Air Quality, is they overflow with rain. Well, what's going to happen to the oil? It floats.
It'll float away. It's not in the sample.
It's not going to be in the sample. It separates from the water. Kirsten, do you have any idea about those colors, you think, or I don't want? I know we're talking a lot here.
I've only just been noticing them in pictures people are taking, so I'm sitting here nodding my head going, that makes a lot of sense, and that, and I've taken pictures of my own where I see the different colors, and I'm, convinced that it's the metals, in the spray that's up there, from the sun. I'm in the Puget Sound, Seattle area, so I don't get a lot of sun. So when we do, it's pretty obvious, the sky is orange, or, some of those pictures that I've been seeing lately of the rainbows, and they're not rainbows, but the whole sky is multicolored like a rainbow. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way. I have a background. My dad was a Boeing employee, and same thing. We used to go look at the sky and go look at airplanes and watch airplanes fly. I've never, in all my years, seen what I look in the sky and see today. So, you know, when we would have blue skies, they were blue skies. They weren't, you know, multicolored, you know, interesting looking things we're seeing today.
Just so you know, all the moderators we have, yes, they're all women, but they all have a special uniqueness about them. And you just heard her say Boeing. Every one of the people we've selected to help out with this lawsuit group, all these women are very connected somehow with something very important. We appreciate you, Kirsten.
What's that?
I appreciate you. I do.
I know.
We have another, and I tell people too, Kirsten. I hope I'm saying your name right. You know, I've been a maniac skywatcher all my life, and never seen a trail come out of a jet engine. Used to collect pictures of jets. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have thousands of pictures of jets. I watch the sky constantly. Been up to Puget Sound several times. Flew over there. Drove up there a few times. Went to friend in Tacoma. Beautiful, but never seen it.
I'll tell you what. You know, when I met Robert, maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Through the chemtrail group.
Yeah.
And prior to that, I mean, I had been looking in the sky. I'm outside every day for my work, and I live in a really remote area where we're surrounded by state forest lands and, you know, U.S. forest land. And over the last year, we never had spraying out here. We never had trails out here. I have pictures, you know, from several years back. Never a trail in the sky. Now, it's like they're targeting all these areas. You know, I'm surrounded by state forest.
Mm-hmm. How come you know the beetles are in your trees? You know the beetles are killing them, right?
Well, the trees were looking great. You know?
I know. Kidding, but
it's fascinating. It's disturbing. I shouldn't say fascinating, because it's absolutely disturbing at a core level. You know, you go outside and there's a big X, or you know, it's disturbing. It's very disturbing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have many pictures of just my area. Now, when I'm traveling into town, into the Puget Sound area, I would see them all the time. That wasn't unusual, but what is unusual is to see them out here, and it's rare.
Yeah. What
it was
rare.
Kirsten, did you notice up there that they had spots on all the trees, leaves?
Oh yeah, yellowing spots.
Yellow and brown.
Yeah. Well, on all of the plants, and yeah,
specific plants especially. Yeah, they have yellow spots on them, like they've been had gasoline or drops of some chemicals dropped on the leaves.
Exactly.
Here they're more white.
Huh?
Here they're more white.
Okay,
than
white.
They are yellow. Yeah. And it's on everything. It's on your potted plants, but it's also on the ground, on the, you know, leaf, you know, the whatever that stuff is, you know, ground covers.
You should pull you should pick random weeds that look like they have that yellow spotting on them, and carefully remove them and see if the taproot is stunted. If it's got a fleshy brown, maybe reddish tip on it, and then it's got it's about, the taproot's very short, it's stunted, and all surface would, you know, just a surface or overgrown or water in the dry soil that's on the surface. That's aluminum saturation right there. You'll see that in the.
What is it? It's brown with a reddish.
Yeah, brown with a reddish fleshy tip, or just a stunted round, like a stump. If someone got their hand chopped off, they have a stump. But yeah, it's a fleshy, sometimes a fleshy reddish or brownish tip, or gel looking. and then the upper part of that taproot in the center will have a woody, barky look to it. And then all the surface roots, I forget what you call those, they're all just further than they should be, and they're searching in dry soil. The Monsanto seed punches through that aluminum. The taproot can pass through it. That's why the Monsanto seed grows in this aluminum saturated soil. So it's very the chemicals. You should pull up random weeds like that and look at the root structure.
Well, and it's interesting, in the area that I live in, logged 100 years ago. And since then, it was basically untouched. And so it's very interesting to see untouched land. I mean, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in the Seattle area, but I didn't grow up where I live now. And so it's interesting to see some of the nature that you don't necessarily see in the city.
I wonder why what would be the point of spraying out so far out?
I think that they're spraying the forest. It's the only thing that makes any.
I'm just wondering why. It's not a population. That's another agenda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that here. I live kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I live about 30 miles outside Bangor, in a very fairly sparsely populated area. Besides the fact that we have a flight path that comes, the jets come right in from the Bay of Fundy, and they fly west along Route 9 into Bangor, and then they steer into different directions from there, because I follow them. I've driven all the way to Canada and followed them. Yeah, but I'll notice that they were really nailing back in 2009 and 10. They started nailing this area south of me about 5-6 miles real hard. I mean, the rest of the sky could be blue, and there would be this must be 5-mile wide plume that would go as far as you could see one direction, as far as you could see the other. And the only thing I could figure out is that whole area was saturated with blueberry fields. So they have tons of blueberries out here.
Well, would that be upstream from a stream that flows to a drinking source, maybe? Groundwater flowing to streams, flowing to rivers, flowing to drinking sources.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking too. Is I live near a dam where it's a hydro dam.
I don't know where to come
power
up with
dam.
these crazy ideas.
But, I don't either. But yeah, no, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of the. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we get a lot of rain in my particular area. You go 10 miles south, and you don't get the same amount of rainfall.
That was my second question, was do they let it rain there?
Oh, yeah. A lot. Okay. It's disturbing. I need to move away from the rain.
Have you ever seen historical rain levels? Go back like 30 years and look at each season and see how much rainfall you had in that area?
No, but I think that's my next mission.
There you go.
Yep.
Maybe we have if I can get the group to do it, I don't know. Maybe you just stick to that. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. What about you, Russ? That's interesting, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, out here they have, I believe they have several large lakes. I'm in an area that just is littered with lots of pretty good-sized lakes, and I believe several of them are large drinking source reservoirs. I guess they pull water from them for the city, for Bangor, I think. I'm not sure. I've heard that, so that could be playing into why they're messing with us here in the middle of nowhere, But I mean, seeing pictures out in the desert, Utah desert, where there's virtually nothing, just rocks, and they're just killing the skies out there. Just strange.
Are you near New Hampshire?
Not too near, but
I have a girlfriend out there I may go see. You just think how close it was to you.
No, I think it's a couple hours. Yeah, if you come up, let me know. We can get together.
Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Well,
we had.
my head's spinning with like rain and rivers and population and contamination and spray.
Yeah, so we had. Wow, these are kind of off subject. Some other statements from the chat room. Thought I'd throw in here.
Any subject. That's what Hans gave us permission.
Yes, Hans, got a mighty Hans.
Thank you. No,
Hans. I love it.
I'm so
Everybody loves Hans.
No, this is really great that
You know,
that you have time also. I mean, I will be here 24 hours, so it's a great start to talk with you. You know, I mean, it's excellent. Love it.
I want to move near you, Hans, and be your man slave. Let's do it.
Yeah, but we have also those
No, I like
ex-chemtrails here, and they make you really
Yeah.
sick. Those
Nancy
motherfuckers.
Russ on the weekends, you know?
Whoa.
Sorry for that bad word, but
Oh,
here's
God.
without
I'm
censorship,
as
you
straight
know.
as they get. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we have to shut them down. No, but Russ has really right. I mean, there are no trails at all on the plains normally. You know, the only thing what I have also seen is some white stripes, but they're coming out from the wings when they're cutting the air. Or I don't know how they do that, but from the engine, I never have seen them before. Yeah, that's
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
Not for us there. That's right. I need to look closer.
yeah. Yeah,
I
there's
do.
something really strange going on here, you know. And I want to know what it
The tips of
is.
the wings? The tips of the wings or the middle of the wings?
I think all those things which are cutting from the wings, you know, when they are moving like, or in plane shows, for example. For example, there's one, what is the name? The Blue Arrows or something. I mean, there are many flight shows where they have some very good plane.
Angels? Angels?
Exactly, those, for example. And they are painting also with some traits, but those are like with some colors and everything. I mean, but when they don't put them and they are flying and moving, etc., then you can see some turbulences.
La nueva botella de Pepsi está rifadísima. Tanto que a 5 de cada 7 los enloquece.
I don't know if you hear that, but I also I got the
Enloquece.
commercials here.
Gracias por llamar a Rob Forgette. Siglas en
¿Cómo se llama
español
usted?
barqueros.
Española.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, claro.
Yeah, they are interrupting important parts here. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry. No, but really, I mean, or when you see, maybe you remember those scenes when the plane is going back to Earth on the airport, for example. Then there are some circles also coming out from the wings. Turbulences, exactly. Those are the only things I have seen of normal planes,
Right.
but from the engine, nothing. Only the
Yeah.
chemtrails, you know.
Yeah, and those are true contrails.
Mhm.
That's when, and you'll see this. I've seen this myself from time to time. Is if a jet's coming down and it starts banking back, you'll see that as the lift on the wings, you can actually see the wings flex on a jumbo jet. If you see this
Yep.
happen, they'll flex just a little bit, and
Yep.
you'll see the little contrail come off the tip, and then it'll stop, and then it may flex a little bit, like it might oscillate. So it's like when it's got lots of flap, and it's creating that vacuum zone where that vacuum zone is real high. Then just for a second, you get that contrail, and then it goes away right away, and then it might even tip back again. And oftentimes when you're landing, or when the wings are at full flap, or when you're doing acrobatics, because you're creating a lot of pressure. You know, there's a lot of vacuum
Exactly.
behind the wings. When you're doing a turn, you'll see one of the wings sometimes will get, or if you're slowing down rapidly, you're creating a massive vacuum, and then you'll have that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've seen that several times, and that's a true contrail.
That
You know,
exactly.
that's where you have a quick condensation in the vacuum zone, and then it's gone.
Exactly, because when all the jets do that, I mean, I mentioned some minutes ago or some hours ago, I don't have even time feeling now, but I live very close to the airport, the Mexican airport, where there are thousands of planes coming and going, and if there would be chemtrails from engines, also the sky would be full of them. They're not. Some ones. But those live here, this is really a mess, and they are not going away. Oh, they're not even going away. They're forming. I mean, big long lines, and then getting bigger and bigger for that time. Then they're really forming the clouds, and when you ask the people, what is that? They say it's clouds, and when you ask them before, they will say, no, that's just a plane, and because they don't know it yet. And I hope with this live stream here, people get aware and just and start also to investigate it a little bit, because there's really something bad going on for me and for many people. So we have to find out what it is, stop it, because if it's not good, then that has to stop immediately, because people are getting sick, people are dying from this, and it's a mess. Yeah.
Is this stream being recorded all the way through, or part of it?
Okay, what I'm doing now is first part. You know, I have a limit of 3 hours. I cannot record more, but the first part, when we started, it's already saved as a to download. So if people missed the beginning, they can watch it right away. It's already there. It should appear when you open the live stream channel. It should be like first part. I will tell you how I named it, that you can find it faster. I put it part 1, 12, Russ and Robert, Chemtrails, and number 1. Now when
Chemtrail geoengineering lawsuit. Make that a keyword.
Yeah, okay. And then when you when those
And globalskywatch.com.
yeah, when the second
Russ Tanner.
when the second 3 hours are gone, I have to save it again, and then I continue, and after those 24 hours, I will have 1 month in editing everything. But I don't care. It's important. So I will let all those things what we are talking. We are still live now, people. Hello. If you see us, don't run away. If you have to work or to go, come back later and watch what is uploaded already. So anyway, I will let there on this live stream channel all those videos, not edited yet, of course, but they can check it out and watch it, and yeah, learn from it maybe. And then with the time, yeah, I will upload everything to the YouTube channel, so that's for the future. But right now we are live and everything is being recorded.
Excellent.
Yep.
That's
Well,
got another statement on the forum a little bit ago, said a little while ago, said a lot of people with anxiety and anger issues, and because of the high mercury spraying last week, and just wanted to support whoever wrote that mercury is known to cause anger issues and anxiety. Those are two very well known. Also depression and many other things that we talked about earlier too. We talked a lot about mercury in this conversation so far, but I think that's good because it's a really important subject.
You don't entertain the concept of HARP interfering with the moods of people too, or that theory?
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, scientifically we know that you can use electromagnetics to change people's moods, to change. Absolutely. I mean, we know that is possible. Is HARP being used for that? I would not be the least bit surprised if it is. We've got patents talking about it. Now,
do we know though? Do we know? Like, I'm having trouble finding stuff on HARP. The stuff I want to find.
I don't think, I haven't seen anything that actually would make it provable.
Right, that's the problem. But you know, it's a
Yeah.
knowing, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't even say that I know. I know the capabilities there, and so
I
I'm
mean,
kind
a
of.
knowing isn't a feeling, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, I I don't know either way. I don't know that either way. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
just
I
heard that.
think, yeah, I think that uh, with, um, gosh, I lost it. I forgot
You're
what I was going to
talking
say.
about harp and just as an assumption, maybe. Right?
Oh, one thing I was reading research this last week. I remember now. I was reading research this last week about how you can embed um, in the very high frequency of sound or music or television signals. In the very high frequency of the audio portion, you can actually frequency modulate, for people who know what that means, frequency modulate actual sounds, words, phrases, sentences that can just go on continuously, and the user will never detect them. And
Subliminal. It's a
Mhm.
subconscious mind frequency.
right, and this was from CIA research that had been declassified. This is what I was reading this last week, and knowing what I know about the industrialists and about how they have acted in the past, I would be shocked if they didn't utilize every technique available to influence people. It would be
Multiple assaults. Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely, and I would love to see somebody do an experiment who knows about sound, to take some signals from mainstream media and try to demodulate up in the high frequency audio and slow it down, because they say they speed it up. They actually make it very fast, and they put it in the high frequency range so it's at the very high end of your hearing, and see if you can't find something. Look and see if there's something there.
Get out.
Obey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consume.
Going on.
Sorry.
You know,
I can't help myself.
what I also
Get out of
not
my house.
think, what I believe.
Not tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah. What I also believe is this mind control on everything. You know, I think everything is connected, like connecting the dots. You know, because all this technology is so top secret, and there really there's so many things going on. I have I have made other live streams with victims of mind control, also with the Morgellons diseases and everything. And with the mind control, they I don't know if you have seen them with Mary Pollack and Melanie Richan, who are really suffering of impacts. For example, Melanie Richan, she gets even like harped, you know. She feels the impact of some frequencies. So
Melanie who? How do you spell her last name?
Richan, she's German. She was born in Germany and she lives in Brussels, I think so. Let me.
Richon.
Richan, I think this is her last name. It's on my YouTube channel, Lights Out 9999. There are a lot of videos about them, and there's one very, very intelligent guy who knows a lot about those technology. Is Dirk. When I made my live stream about the victims who have died and everything, I think it was on 9/11 not this year. He knows a lot, and I hope he will have some time today to explain it again and talk again about it. About the mind control technology and everything. There's another great guy. The name is Olson. I don't know if you have heard
Olson?
of him. Olson.
You can throw those names. I need them. OLSEN.
Okay. Let me see if he's online now. Let me see, because they're in Europe, so maybe they're awakened. Magnus Olson. No, he's not there yet. But his name is Magnus Olson.
OLSEN.
Olsson. Magnus. He is also on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I
Hey.
think we're friends.
Yeah.
Are you really? You know what? That name's familiar.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And Dirk Storm. This is the guy who is suffering, I think, about 30 years of mind control. It's yeah.
Oh,
I mean, when I'm talking to all those people, I got like I'm getting sad because it's like I want to help them, but there's our enemies. We not even know where they are, where they have all their offices and machines and computers to
And
do that. I
you
mean,
get into
it's
people
horrible.
who call themselves targeted individuals, right?
Yes. This is the
Right.
name of those people, and there were killed a lot of people. Mexico some days ago, I think 2 or 3 days ago, there was a celebrity killed, Jenny Rivera. She was a singer, and then my girlfriend and we did some research on the internet just to see who or what other people got killed in plane crashes, for example. And it's amazing how many people are or died on plane crashes. I mean, it's like, is this a coincidence? I
You know what's interesting is we had a member, Kirsten, just messaged me.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Magnan, I know the name now. We couldn't add him to our group. Like everybody comes in and requests it, and we accept it.
Yeah.
And his name got stuck and would never come unstuck. We had to contact Facebook with a bug report to get his name off the side of the page.
Uh-huh.
But we couldn't accept him as a member.
Uh-huh.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
He's the only one of two people that we've had that happen in since I've been doing this over a year with them.
Yeah.
In the group.
That's
So yeah,
amazing.
thank you, Kirsten. How funny that topic would come up and that name, we remember it.
Yeah.
It's talking about being under control or monitored or whatever. Interesting that he'd be stuck in our inbox or in.
La botella de Pepsi está rifadísima. Tanto que a 5 de cada 7 los enloquece. ¿Quiénes?
Okay. Let me. There's. I have a lot of people here. I don't know if they're yet connected. Let me check out. There's, for example, Carmen Lupan.
You got to spell these because I don't know. I didn't go to that school, Han.
Yeah.
They
I'm
put
trying,
vowels-
man. I am. I'm butchering it.
Peter
They put letters
Rosenholm.
together. I've never seen it.
Not there yet. I mean, it's the problem because it's really very early now. So many people are still sleeping.
It's okay. Just notate and inbox it or.
Yeah. Anyway, if let me see.
I love Kirsten's laughing.
Okay, here's one guy. He's there. He knows also a lot. Let me see if he wanna join. I will write him a private message first if you wanna go live, because he's a member of a target group and they know a lot of things which not even I know, because all those things are also kind of new for me, you know. I started with climate change, global warming stuff and everything, and then I found the chemtrails, then HARP, then mind control. I mean, this is like, what is happening with the world, you know? It's incredible.
It's
a little overwhelming.
It's
Yeah.
being pulled apart at the seams by the owners of this country. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
The world.
Yeah.
and it's
Did you know a little factoid? Did you know that one company one company provides 97% of the food that we eat? Ultimately, it's from one company.
Mhm.
And then overseas, I think it's 2 or 3 companies. I was just reading some statistics today. which is interesting. Or I think it's restaurant food is 97% or 96% of it's provided by one company.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go out to eat, it's
Is
all
that
the
like
same.
Conagra?
I keep seeing U.S. food service when I'm out in
Yeah.
public, but maybe that's them too, right? Conagra.
Right.
And don't they do pesticides, Conagra?
I don't even know.
I think they do.
Probably.
Yeah, I know too little about too much, or something like that. CONGRA. Yeah, Conagra Careers. There we go. Interesting. But and then yes. So what do you think?
One of the things I was noticing. Gosh, I'm getting horrible feedback. Are you hearing that?
Your speaker, Hans.
Okay, I will put it off meanwhile, okay? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've been running into people, gosh, all week, for about a week and a half, that are getting really, really bad sinuses,
Yep.
like sinus infections and that kind of thing. And, you know, in the last week, they sprayed really, really, really heavily on 3 days that it was clear, you know, that there wasn't rain. And I find it kind of interesting because these people don't know each other. They're not in contact with each other. They're random people. And I'm running into it. And I noticed I was experiencing some of it, but it went away right away. So it's kind of I don't know if that's the chemtrail as well, or I just assumed that it was because I'm seeing this in so many different places. And oh my gosh.
Yep.
Do you notice that too?
Yes.
Okay, I got a guy here, is Omaim. He wanna join. He knows a little bit of all these things. Let me add him. Okay. Let me just
I just
find-
did a search, like quote Conagra unquote, and then quote U.S. Food Service unquote. And the Google hits showed up. They are related. That's an interesting factoid.
Okay.
So yes, you're correct. We're correct.
Okay, let me see. Omaim?
Food suppliers just look at some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kirsten, it's crazy, man. The illnesses and the symptoms and everything. I'm daily overwhelmed with all these things. And I watch the members bring in post after post, and a lot of it I recognize already, but it just reminds me of it's such a big thing to fix all this.
I think he's there. Okay, I will put myself on mute. Okay. Omaim, welcome here. Okay, I will put myself on mute that there's no echo effect here. If you wanna talk about you and about the topics here, you're welcome.
Well, hello. Their stream is frozen. Just give it a second.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Malaysia.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear us, Malaysia?
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm from Malaysia. I'm 56 years old. I'm a group accountant by profession. I've been working in an audit firm for almost 10 years. After that, I moved to manufacturing industry. I'm a financial accountant, budget and cost accounting. And I'm not married because basically I'm not married because I do research on existence of human life. I do PhD in metaphysics and theology. And I started experiencing this for many years, but I don't know how to go about because my metaphysics studies of those days based on ghosts and spirit. I didn't know it was ecology. In 2010 report, wanted to know existence of this technology. I Google what is mind control. I came to know a lot of technology exists and registered under United States patent trademark. When I make a police report, I discuss with the investigating officer, Mr. Muhammad in Kota Baru, Kelantan, Malaysia. He told me I was alone at that time. My friends all didn't join the discussion. I requested the police officer to investigate such a criminal exists in Malaysia. This is based on neurological weapon. And number of officers in my discussion, 3 of them, all of them surprised, looking at my files, my record, my document, CIA document, CIA mind control document, CIA Medusa document, CIA V2K documents, all I printed out. I showed it to Malaysian investigating police officers. They're surprised the way I have investigated, and they will say, they told me that they will keep in touch with me. After that they didn't keep in touch with me, and then they keep quiet. Then I wrote a letter to Prime Minister's office. Prime Minister's office didn't reply a letter, and then I make a phone call to Prime Minister's office department under Public Security Order Department. At that time, Asha, a Muslim lady officer in charge at that time. I spoke to the officer in charge of the Public Order and Security under Prime Minister's Department, Home Affairs Division. She said she has forwarded my letter to Inspector General Police Department of Kuala Lumpur to investigate further. And they didn't CC the copy of the letter to me. I demanded the copy of the letter sent to Inspector General Police to be CC copied to me so that I'll be aware what is happening with my topic about neurology weapon which has been used in the country. It is in blog. My blog is Malaysia Mind Control .blogspot.com. All my police report, all my letters to the government is inside my blog. As you go through the blog 2011 and 2010. And then I went to Inspector General Police headquarters in Kuala Lumpur. They said they didn't receive the letter. I xeroxed the copy of the letter, I gave it to them. After 2 weeks, Inspector General Police Office Department called me. They want to interview me about this issue. So I didn't go alone. I was worried if anything happened. I don't know. Many things has happened. I was worried. I didn't go alone. I took 4 friends, the bar, ladies, and Sister. 5 of us went. Before going there, I told the officer, Mr. Bibral Singh, who communicated with me, Mr. Bibral Singh said, Mr. Bibral Singh promised me to give a conference room equipped with a laptop and projector, because I need laptop projector to explain what is neurology weapon, what is mind control, what is gang stalking and group stalking. When Mr. Bibral Singh, the officer in charge, promised me to give a conference room enough for 10 people. After 1 week, Mr. Bibral Singh called my handphone that they cannot have the conference. He asked to go to another police. Is near to another small area of Kuala Lumpur. And 5 of us went there, waited for them at 10 o'clock in the morning. They came, and that day they're looking for the conference room. There's no conference room available. The only room available in that police station, a small room which can accommodate only 3 people. No projector was given to me. No laptop was given to me. Nothing is given to me. Luckily, I took my laptop. I took all available document with me. I xeroxed all the information. I compiled the document into a small booklet. I handed over the document to all the officers, each one copy. They refused to start the conversation. We crammed in a small room, 10 of us. The room only can accommodate 3 people, but we are forced to. Only 3 people can accommodate in the room, but 10 people has to go inside one particular room.
La nueva botella de Pepsi es una chulada.
Without any projector, nothing. The moment I started explaining, all the officers interrupted me crisscross. Every 2 seconds I explained to them, they interrupted me. Every 2 seconds I explained to them, they interrupted me. I keep on reminding them, please don't interrupt me. Let me finish my explanation and then we can discuss. They didn't do that. Almost 2 hours they wasted like that. I didn't get angry. I controlled myself. I know this is my first dialogue with the top police Kuala Lumpur. One of the top CIA, equivalent to Director General of CIA in the United States, top inspector, top investigating officers in Kuala Lumpur. After 2 hours discussion, they advised me to study physics. I don't know for what. They advised me to study physics to understand better. I said, physics, I don't know why they advised me to study physics. I don't know. And then I wrote, after the dialogue, we thanked each other. I came back home. We all came back home. I wrote a letter immediately to all the officers in charge on that day. I was requesting them reply my letter whether such a technology exists or not. The technology doesn't exist. The technology doesn't exist in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia. If there is such a technology exists, please let me campaign such a criminal exists in Malaysia, that we have to expose this criminal so that no victim. It's almost 7 months now, 7-8 months already. Till today, they never replied my letter. I called Prime Minister's office department. They told me they cannot reply my letter. They asked me to refer to Inspector General Police. When I spoke to Inspector General Police, they asked me to refer to Prime Minister's office. This is what going on for last 7 months. Today I went to campaign in Malaysia administrative office in Putrajaya. Distributed campaigning existence of this particular neurology weapon. So that's my story so far. I'm still campaigning. I'm not going to give up. I'm communicating with all the TI around the world. Almost 40 countries we are communicating each other. 40 countries in my Skype conference every week, 3 times a week. We communicate each other. So this is all I can say.
Wow. And I thought we had corruption. Russ, what do you think of that?
Sounds kind of familiar. The corruption is very frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. If no one else thanks you, then let us at least thank you for your work.
And that's a lot of hard work. We can see that. And frustration.
Well,
did you want to share?
I'm looking at your blog right now. And you've got quite an extensive blog. I put the link up below the Skype. He's even got Hans on there. Look at Hans. Got a video of you up there. He's got all his documentation up, copies of things that were signed, statements, I guess. You've been through a lot, my friend. Oh, wow.
Hello, yeah.
Are you familiar with mindcontrol.se? Are you familiar with mindcontrol.se?
We are part of it. We all are part of it.
Yeah, they've got 38,000 visits, or the globe is spinning, and it's global. This is a major site.
Yes.
I can see that.
This is
I just
Magnus.
put both of your links up in our group.
Mind control is from Magnus Olson.
He's works with them. He said he's connected with them. Nice. All right, Magnus can't get on. Poor guy.
Okay, Magnus, if you hear us, thank you anyway for being a little bit here, and I hope to see you later. Magnus, another message to you: if you hear us, will be live for make it a little bit later. Pleasure for me to bring you in, that you also can talk to the world what is happening, and maybe we can get more people who knows also about it, like Dirk, like Melanie, like Marie Palak, and all those people, because it's important that the world know the truth, because it's really, I don't have any words for it. This is just, they are breaking the human rights with this,
He says, my first mind control forum at PKR Bandar, I can't pronounce this, Tun Razak office. Nobody willing to listen to what is electronic harassment and what is mind control. All of them refused to see me on 11th of May 2012. He's running a current blog all the way, every event. This is the most detailed account I've seen of anything that somebody's claimed for mind control. Very impressive. It'll take hours to go through. This is a lot of information. Thank you for the link. And we'll put this up in our group so that others can see it and spread the word. Is that okay with you? Oh, he can't hear us.
I'm,
well, I'll type. You
what
guys
country?
Can talk. I'll type.
What country was he from? I'm sorry, I missed the first part of it. I was away.
Malaysia. He's in Malaysia right now.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of came back on.
He was trying to deal with exposing and called in the police station and jammed in a small room for 3 people with 10 people, and then trying to tell a story, and every 2 seconds the police are interrupting him. But he had, I think, CIA from the United States involved in that.
Really?
I think he touched some nerves. Yeah.
So they called him in?
Yes, that's what I gathered. Can you hear us now? Well, how do you pronounce your name? Omem?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying we're putting your up in our group, and hopefully we can spread it around, at least around here, with who we know, and help get you connected with more people that might be able to help, or more have something like this. I think I'm amazed right now.
Yeah. The line is
I guess
very bad.
I'm gonna put the link up in the. I forgot about that. Can you put the link in your own chat there on the UStream? I can't do it, Hans.
Okay.
Let me try. Oh, I did it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll spread the word on that. Is there anything special you'd like us to do for you?
I think he has to reconnect now.
Yeah, writing.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bad line now. Yeah, this is so sad. I mean, people are
Are you
suffering,
looking at
and
this?
wow.
Are you looking at this too? Yeah. This makes me stop complaining about some of the things I complain about. Jesus criminy.
And the worst is they use the taxes of all the people for all this torturing. You know, I mean, this is not fair at all. I mean, people are getting attacked, getting tortured, getting killed, and everything. And how can we
He
stop
says
that?
he said the line's disconnecting. Maybe the Malaysian top level are interfering.
Yeah.
Well, after that story, I wouldn't even chuckle. I believe him. Jeez. Good Lord, man. Is that not heavy, Hans?
Yeah, this is very heavy. I don't know if you know that I have a girlfriend. I think you know, and she's also a victim, you know, and she's suffering. They're torturing her in dreams, and I don't know. I mean, it's so hard, you know, and I want to help. I want to finish all this suffering on our planet, and
Yeah.
and it is. I feel like how, you know, because the only thing what I can do is making live streams, posting like a machine on Facebook about all this, putting links, ask the people please share, have an eye on this, Google it, to get people to, even if they don't know what is happening, they're just stuck on Facebook, but don't go out. You know? I mean, for example, here in Mexico, I never have seen a chemtrail protest on the streets, and I have talked to so many Mexicans here, and they say, what, the half of them, they not even believe it, the other half just like, really, and then they forget it. And this, I mean, we have really to wake up the people that, I mean, everybody could be affected, everybody. I mean, what I really think is that you know, they want, I don't know if you know Anthony Hilder, and there are other people also, they say they want to reduce the world population, I mean, they want to kill, let's say, little by little, past that, maybe that some years, their goal is kill 90%, 95, some, I don't know, and between 90%, They want to get rid of those people. I mean, and this is true. This is really, I mean, this is worse than a war, because this is a worldwide killing. And it seems that, just check it out. If there are chemtrails in the States, if there are chemtrails in Mexico, in Germany, they're reported in the whole world. That means that the governments, they know about it and they permit it. It's like a plan between the governments, because if it's, let's make an example. Germany, there's a chemtrail, and people say, what's happening? And the politicians, they would say, okay, someone is making a war on our sky, and they would get in trouble, but nobody does anything. For me, see, the governments know what is happening, and they're maybe it's because of the Bill group, they make the plan there, who has to live, who has to die, I don't know. But I think the people up, the New World Order or whatever, the Illuminatis, however you want to call them, they know exactly what they're doing. And the people like you and me, the workers, the slaves, the sheep, all I mean, we're just doing our job, trying to survive one day to the other, and we are also getting killed. I mean, this is a madness. I mean, we have really to do something. I mean, this is not fair at all.
Sorry.
La botella de Pepsi está rifa.
Oh my God.
You're back. Ma'am, I wish I could say your name right. I can hear it now, but the caller icon is not visible. Okay. Hans, it's painful, and then you're right about spending a lot of time trying to spread the word, and then people don't activate.
Yeah. In fact, doing the live stream, what I'm doing right now, for example, it's not that I want to be here live. It's to bring the people together. I feel just like the messenger, or the guy who tries to connect the other groups. I mean, there are so many groups, like the Infowars of what is the name, Alex Jones. There's Zeitgeist Movement. There's Venus Project. There's Sons of Liberty from the United States. There are thousands of groups with thousands of members, but what I see, what is the big problem is that everyone is going just by themselves, and this is why we are losing power, because if we don't unite, it's like spreading or dividing the power. We have to come together, because then we will not be just 1,000 there, 1,000 there. We will be 100,000s together, or even millions together, and then we could reach something. And this is what I want to do. That's why I'm going live now, 24 hours, to get everybody here to talk, to tell them, please, let's make friends here. Let's come together. I don't want to be a leader. I don't want to be the king or whatever. I just offer that the people can join, know things what is happening. I mean, it's important to come together, because we are just now people on Facebook and just writing, posting, putting pictures. And this is, I mean, with this now more than 5 years doing the same, and there's no change. We have to go farther, I mean, to make more, because just a computer, when someone switch the internet off, like they say the internet kill switch of Obama or whatever, then before we have getting started something, then we just like poof away, and then we not even can come together. We have to come together as soon as possible and doing something, actions. I cannot be waiting another year, live stream 13. I mean, that not even exists. I mean, my events, I do it every year, 999, 10, 11, 12, whatever, and I cannot wait another year and just talking for some hours here. That's it. No, we have to do something. And this is it. Really, I mean, this is affecting everybody.
What day what day of the year and month are you going to do it next year?
I don't know what date. First, let's see what
We're
happened
out
on
of you're out of
21st of
repeat
December.
numbers.
You know, the people that say the war is going to end on 21st of December. I don't think about this because
No.
it's just a calendar, you know, and it's like 31st of December.
Sure.
Then it starts the 1st of January again, you know. Many people think there's spiritual awakening. I hope so, because this could be something funny, not funny, something positive. Let's say it like this. But
That's my take.
yeah. So what I'm thinking, I mean, making the next live stream on first for on 1/1. That would work as people still a bit over because celebrating the New Year parties and whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I will have to choose a special date. But anyway, the live streams are frequently. It's as soon as someone wants to talk, I go live. I don't care. I take the day off. I cancel my work if I have to work a day. I mean, it's more important to do something for people than just to work for some, you know, that they are getting richer of your work. So I will take my time anyway when someone has a topic to or something important to say.
Make a website called globalunity.com, something like that.
Yeah. In fact, I just finished my professional website, which is projectlightsout.org, and what I'm offering also all the people, you know, I have some tabs, and there's other organizations. I don't charge for them. They can, if they send me their banners, their links, I will put them there. That you know, my website is not just for me or for the project. It's also that people learn about it. They that they can find you, for example, or Russ Tanner. Russ Tanner is already there with his link. Roxy Lopez is there. Anthony Hilder is there.
We're fractured, though.
A lot of people. When you go to other organizations, then you can see a lot of links. If you have one, of course I will add it also, because you're doing great. So I mean, bringing the people together, that's why I put that website, that the people also see topics. For example, there's some tabs about chemtrails, and another tab is about HARP, another tab is about mind control, and more, little by little. I mean, sometimes I don't have that much time, and I have to wait until my friend who helped me to build the website, that he also can help me to add the things. But meanwhile, all the people who are watching me, and maybe someone has also a great website, send me the link, send me a banner or logo from the group or from your blog or website, whatever, and I will put it there. I don't charge for it. I mean, it's just bringing the people together. What I'm thinking also, if there's some people who offer let's say solar panels or Faraday cages, whatever. I mean, people who want to make business, then okay, I can offer this also on my website, but then I should charge a little bit to get a live, you know, because they are making business being on my website. So if there's someone who say, I solar business in of the commercial power grids or power plants or whatever, but then that they also offer me some help. But if someone just want to help, then I don't charge, you know. If it's connected with business, please also help me, because I help you also to make you your business growing, you know. So I have so many ideas yet, still here my head, and I little by little. I mean, now I don't receive here any how you say, any payments for that. What I'm doing is I'm spending here hours and hours for free, because I love it. I love to help. I want to have, I want to make.
Yeah, the most rewarding thing is the stuff that I don't paid for.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
Russ, he could probably use that global chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he's chat right here next to his thing too, but the global chat would be good for his website.
Yeah, it would be. We have an idea for you later on, or I don't know, whenever. Russ probably can explain it. But we have an idea for you to get people to connect globally. We're thinking on the same scale, like, because all the geoengineering groups are fractured. They're all separate, like you were saying. Russ has a good idea to use his platform to allow the other groups to maintain their integrity, but then they wind up all coming together. They can drop a message bomb into that chat on his site, and it's seen globally within other groups' pages. I'm not explaining it right, am I, Russ?
No, that's good. You nailed it. Yeah, and if and Hans, if I can ever help you with your website, let me know too. Be happy to help. But your website's looking really good. You're doing a great job, or your friend is helping you. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's almost like you have this two groups of people trying to steer the public.
Huh. Yeah.
You ever see it that way?
Yes.
And the so-called elites have the money, and they have the bullhorn, which is mainstream media, and we're making use of what we can put together, like with what technologies available, resources are. But it seems to me that public is only going to really be seriously involved when they realize how important this is. Right, and they're not going to realize how important it is until they suffer. Unfortunately, it may come to that, or it looks like it is. Do you think that's the case?
Yes, I do. I think that every day. It frustrates me. I call for action, and I've got to sometimes beg, other times not. It irritates me because but then I wonder, am I the only one awake here, or or one of the few? Is there enough of me, or enough of people that think one way? It's very frustrating. It's saddening. And then you got these guys over here in Malaysia. Yeah, we're frustrated, but look what they're dealing with. My God, man.
Yeah.
You hear it's bad, but to have somebody from there explain that what he did,
Yeah. It's just leave me without words because
I don't know what to say. I have no experience to give him advice. I don't know what to think or to do. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm with you. It's just corruption, and it's like two groups of people trying to steer the public. I try to draw a model of what's going on in my head to try to find out how to have the greatest influence. And it comes down to making the public care and looking at what are the two motivators that people have in life. And I look at it as fear and love. You're the motivated because you really care about something, or you're motivated because you're afraid of what happens if you don't get motivated.
That's a government steers the public because the man is the only creature that can be driven by fear to do things.
Also, there's
they use fear very effectively, which is what false flags are all about. Yeah. And as a group of moral people who want to do what's best for the public, but we have a public that doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, and then it leaves me questioning, like, business of mine to try and help. Am I fearing, or am I? Sometimes I feel alone in how I feel about it, like I'm imposing my ideas on other people. I feel that.
You know what?
Would be a cool feeling to want to fix
you know what also happening? They, I mean, they are positive. The people who are doing all these bad things. What they are doing now, I see that here in Mexico because people are not like in the past. You know, there's less community, or they don't have parties together, or spending time
They don't know
together.
their neighbors.
They wanna separate the people.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts with the fear. You know, in Mexico, I don't know if you have heard about this, of what the drug dealers and the drug wars, the cartels who are cutting off heads and everything. So
Yeah.
people, they first what they're doing is they don't go out too much on the streets. They are just like going to work, going home, watching the soap operas, feeling like secure in their homes, but don't meet other people. Just on Facebook, some hello chat there, email there, you know. But because it's easier to control people when they're separated, because if they are coming together, they can think, they can talk, they can pass information, you know. So if you want to fight against them, the only way is do it with love, without any violence, because violence also makes more fear, and the
La
people,
nueva botella de Pepsi es una chula.
you know, violence.
You need to know your neighbors.
Exactly.
How many people know their neighbor across the street to the right one house? You know what I mean? They don't.
I know. In Germany, even you don't know the names of your neighbors.
Right.
When you see them on the stairs, it's just good morning, sir, and that's it. You know, I mean, there's no contact. Even the people, when they're, for example, the children are getting 18 years old, then they are leaving their parents. You know, everybody wants to be living on his own. You know, so the separation starts very early, and then once in the system, you have to work to get your money to pay your bills, because when you're living alone, then it's not like mama, papa, pay me the rent, help me with this. No, then you're on your own, and then you're in the system. You know, you have to work to pay your bills, the credit card, and yeah, we have to go out of that system as soon as possible. Go green as you can go. You know, I mean, don't buy too much in all those big centers like Walmart and I don't know, you know, because also when you buy there something, they're all connected like at the pyramid. You know, the taxes, even if you have a Walmart in Mexico City, but who is getting the money is someone in the States maybe, and he is paying for that. I mean, you have just to follow the pyramid, who gets all the money, and then maybe you really can find those who are ruling the world, you know. So but if we are going for example, buying on the street markets, or making business with a friend, you know, which we don't or where we don't have to pay taxes anymore, just do it locally, you know, or in private businesses, I don't know. But going out of the system, don't fall in the traps when we see the commercials on TV where they're talking about the newest iPod or iPad, or the new brainwashing machine, the TV set, for example, because that what we have at home is working. Also with the new Windows system, now they're announcing the Windows 8. I mean, I still have XP, and this does everything what I want. I don't need a new Word or a new Explorer. Those what I have, they are working for that. What I want to do, they're working. But people think this is new, this has to be better, this is fashion, you know. And when you're there, then you're spending the whole money, and then sometimes when the money is finished, there's still days left from the month, you know. You're spending faster than you have days for it, you know, and then you're in problems. Yeah, it's horrible.
Hans, you're looking at somebody here who I used to make a gross of 1.7 million in a year, and that was the worst time of my life making that money. I'd give up everything. even a driver's license, registration, and insurance. I don't subscribe to any of that. I've been pulled over 5 times and let go because I know how to talk to the police, what words to use. I'm shedding my Social Security. I've got, and to do that requires a stack of paper like this. This is my stuff to get rid of my Social Security, and then next is my driver's license, and my birth certificate will be switched to a birth of record, and then I will be free from this system. Then I just have a cell phone and a computer, which I might switch to a cloud. Somebody told me that those are something you can use to remain unfound, basically. But I'm working on getting out of the system. I'm sick of it. I own a TV, which I don't even watch, and this computer. I have an air mattress. I'm just scaling way back. I'm about to go really find me a plot of land. I'm not joking. And with a fishing pole, a gun, and a knife, and I'm done. I'm out of here. So
yeah,
that's my goal for this coming up year, to finalize everything.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
I think that
In my case, for
I have a
example,
group.
I even have
What's that?
sold my TV. I have a little black and white TV just in case if there's really something big happening, to compare the manipulated or censored news on TV, and then look for the other opinions on the internet. But I mean, this little black and white TV, the last TV I have here, it's not even on. I mean, I don't use it anyway. It's
My
just like
TV, my TV is used to hear my computer.
Yeah.
That's it. It's on Video 3, and it's been on Video 3 for a year.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I don't listen to the radio in the car.
Exactly. That helps a lot.
I study self-help. Right now I'm studying Illuminati. I'm studying the entire background and history of them. And just to understand how these fuckers think.
Yeah.
So
it's great to hear you getting out of the system. I think that's really cool. And Hans, you're using Windows XP, you said, right?
Right. Right.
I don't even bank.
Right.
No bank, nothing.
Right.
Cash.
Yeah, because I would like to have the 7 for example, because there are many programs not running anymore with XP, but there are also so many programs still not ready for the newest system. It's not compatible, for example. But what I need is an Explorer, some editing programs, and there are a lot for XP. Yeah, Word, for example, to write things, and PowerPoint for making presentations, and this does it perfectly well. And I not even need that much memory for the XP. Then if I change the whole thing for Windows 7, I need a bigger computer, and I don't have the money really to afford to buy me everything new. I have to live with that what I have here, and by now XP works just perfect. I'm live now. I'm talking with you, so you see if it's working.
That's excellent. I just wanted to say something to both of you. First of all, Hans, I know you can't see it, but right over here, my computer, Windows 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent, and it's working.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that were times I had it also. Then I had, I started with 998. Then I had the Millennium Edition. That was a total bullshit. That didn't work at all. And then the 2000. Then because I had problems with my computer when I was living in Cancun. The whole computer broke up because of the climate there, the salty air and everything. So then I got my XP, and until now it's just working, and it's very easy to get the things what you want to do.
Well, that's good.
Windows 2000, excellent.
I want to tell you guys both, I surf the internet with a browser that masks my IP. I'm not subject to hacking or tracking, except through the modem here, I guess, but it's not my name, it's the landlord's modem. but it's called Komodo, COMODO.com. And your older computers will work wonderfully with this. It's lightning fast, and it's exactly like Google Chrome, but it's fixed in a way that I can alter web pages with it. And anybody want to try and hack, you're not going to get a hold of me. You're going to go to a server elsewhere. However that works. But Komodo.com, I recommend it, although Russ knows more about computers than me. But I've been using it for 6 months, I guess. And I also changed my hard drive out. I used my hard drive for a couple months, and I hide it somewhere else. I'm not saying, and I put a new hard drive in. I don't want my privacy. It's just, paranoia. It's I just always prepare for the worst.
Yeah. Preparation is definitely not paranoia, and I really respect what you're doing in getting out of the system. It's something that I studied a lot back in the 80s, and then I kind of let it. Do you?
Yeah, I'm teaching common law on a page here. You didn't know that?
No, I heard you mention common law before, a little bit here and there, but I didn't know how far you were into it.
Well, I'm not going to scare the members because they're all just learning. They would be afraid. They'd be intimidated. I just sit back and watch the shares as they're not concentrating. Some of them, but many are. There's the link below the window there to the page. You're welcome to look.
Yeah, that's cool.
I used 1215.org for a source.
Oh yeah, I think I actually remember you mentioning this before. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm no magician, but that's the good source for this stuff. Well, there's other ones, but I'm not gonna. It's just too much for people to. That stuff's hard to get to go over, the hundreds of hours.
It is. I look at the legal system as like a landmine. What's kind of cool now is that you've reached kind of the crest of the night where people dropped off, and now their people are starting to come back on. It's 7 o'clock here on the eastern seaboard. Just thought I'd throw that in there. In fact, I had to leave for a minute because the temperature in the house. I heat the house with a wood-burning stove. It was 62 degrees. It went out earlier this evening, so I had to run downstairs and get the fire going again. So
that's what happened. I thought you had to go do a sissy.
No, it was freezing in here. I was getting really cold, so I went down there and got a fire going. So now it's starting to get a little bit warmer. But I really, the common law thing is.
Oh, I believe in it, and what about it?
It is awesome. When I started learning about it, couldn't get me away from the books. I read books cover to cover. I just soaked it in because it empowers you. It makes you understand who you are.
Yeah.
I suspended a judge on my kid's court case and opened a court of law, a second court within the court, and the judge was not allowed to make any decisions on my behalf, for me or against me, against my son or for him. We did not cross the doors, because that represents boarding a ship and becoming part of maritime law. I don't want to be confusing to everybody, but I don't take any shit in court.
I think it's great for people to hear this. You're in a different jurisdiction. You walk through that little wall.
I challenge their jurisdiction. I challenge your jurisdiction. I'm not part of the District of Columbia, 10 square miles. This court has no jurisdiction over the area I even live in. Who are you?
Right.
Joke.
Yeah.
As they go into my ex-wife's house and inspect it, child services, and they're telling me, you have to give me your address. I'm like, you have my cell phone. You're not getting my address. I'm not giving that to you. And then Lori's like, just give him the address. I go, no, you can have him search your house. They're not coming in my house. What if your son doesn't show up for probation? Well, then call me, and I'll kick his ass over there for right now because she signed that paper. So, but I got his last little bullshit thing dismissed. They threatened to arrest me, and I said, go ahead, just bring it up. I've already seen how this works. They kicked the case out on him. They were trying to follow up with some more bullshit and keep him in the system up to he's 18. Sorry if I sound mad. It just pisses me off.
Yeah, they just try to leech off everybody, and they use people's ignorance to do it. They trick you into any of these legal landmines, is what we used to call them. If you say one wrong thing, and
Oh,
you know,
what do you want? Well, I wish it would be dismissed. Like a king would say, I wish it.
right.
And they another thing, when you're driving and they pull you over, if they ask you for your ID, you didn't do anything wrong. And that's a bullshit stop. If they ask you for your driver's license, I respond, I'm not engaging in commerce. I'm merely traveling. Do you have a driver's license? I don't engage in commerce while driving. I'm traveling. Well, what's your passenger's name? I said, I don't have a passenger. That's also a traveler, and he goes by. He has an identity and he has a family name. They know right away it's too much trouble. They asked me to pull over up ahead and call somebody to drive me. And I just say, well, if I can't do that, I'm going to have to, go about my way. Well, just don't do it in front of me. That's 5 times now I've been stopped.
It's amazing the power, but it's very.
I have no plates on my car. I have dealer plates for a year and a half. What was that, Russ? I'm sorry.
La nueva botella de Pepsi es una chulada, tanto que 5 de cada 7 la aman. Pero ¿quiénes son esas otras dos que no?
Because they have all of these landmines. You say, like you were saying before, you say the wrong thing, then you've changed jurisdiction, you've entered into an agreement, you're stuck.
The United States, as it originally was, is the United States. The United States of America is a corporation. Hence the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and all those people that you find in a corporate structure are who run our government. It is a corporation, and it's a violation, and I find it offensive to even be accosted. I'm mad right now. I just get so pissed off because people need to know, So I made that group Common Law.
Well, that's good. It's good. You're the people who want to know are learning. You're obviously affecting people's lives. That's and unfortunately
just like Hans. I don't want to type my name into Google and find all these. That sucks too. I can't do anything. I can't wait to be off the internet. So that's this goal that's coming up here. Not right away, but midway. I'll pop on through a cloud. That'll be how I do it. There's some program that masks your whole location altogether. I don't know about it. I don't know anything about it. I'm still studying the Illuminati, the secret societies, and how everything works. I'm following the money, Hans.
Exactly, the Illuminatis. Maybe a little bit later.
And as a group, they're not bad people originally. They're now corrupted. They're by design. Those groups were not bad or satanic.
Yeah, but money and power destroys.
Color now.
If you have too much money and too much power, you want always a little bit more. This is why all those leaders and empires at the end broke down, and this will happen also with the New World Order, because things will get out of control one day, but they're still blind, and it's already, you see, people are waking up. There are more revolutions in the streets, more people they don't like the system anymore, and I mean, it's just a question of time. The bad thing is we don't have the time. They're killing us meanwhile with all those what they are doing. Yeah,
you're correct.
Yeah.
So, although that's I study quantum physics too, and that's just my reality. We probably have more time if all of us thought we did, but unfortunately, I cannot grasp that thought process. I see it as we have no time. I can't change that thought. Oh, it's just I really get pissed off, Russ. You know, this is me mad, so about as bad as I get.
That's good.
Yeah.
I hear you. I know. I went. I went through this awakening. It took me. I know. The girls who were on with us were talking about how it took a couple weeks, or for them to get past the fear, or the hurdle. I can't remember what we were calling it, but it took me 2 years. I was working in a political party, and I was volunteering, and I was in the place where faxes came in. There was a computer that worked as a fax machine and printed all the faxes on a laser printer, and the laser printer ran almost constantly from people who were reporting news, and we would see stuff on TV about an event that was taking place, and then we would get faxes from people that we had on the scene, and their stories were totally different. And it took me. I kept seeing the discrepancies. There was a demonstration. The police would say there's 10,000. The media would say there was 2,000 people there. They would twist. The media twisted the stories. They lied about it, and this went on for 2 years. And the day that I broke, I remember it. I'll never forget. I was watching. I was in a room with a TV, and it said CNN was on, and they were talking about Waco, because I was doing this.
Waco.
Waco, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had a study group that we put together, a small group of people that were learning about Waco, because we wanted to understand what was going on. We just wanted to understand it. So we actually got some of the teaching tapes from David Koresh's organization. We got a videotape of him teaching and some audio tapes, and we watched them. And on CNN, they played a clip. I'll never forget this. The news anchor says, David Koresh, who claims to be Jesus Christ, and then they cut to a clip where he says, I am God. And then they cut out of the clip and then continue the news story. And they demonize this guy, who I don't know. I don't know David Koresh, and I didn't know much about his organization. I still don't know too much about it. It's just, it's well, whatever. But anyway, it just, that clip when he said, I am God, that clip was from one of the videos that we watched. And and I was like, that's not what he said. He was saying he's not God. He had said, if I could do this, if I can do that, if I can do that, then I am God. And he went on to explain that he's not God. And it's just like, okay, I've had 2 years of this. I've seen the media lie. And now, that day, I finally said, okay, I accept this. I'm not going to fight it anymore. This is just in my face, and I can't fight it anymore.
The media is a social representation of the White House. They are the mouthpiece for the White House. A lot of those demonstrations you see, thousands are in the streets. Well, interesting that a country that can be broke, where people don't even wear socks, and they've got freshly printed signs that match, that cost probably $30 a piece to make, and they're all crammed in one area, and you see this screenshot of it's just side to side with people protesting with these brand new signs and no shoes on.
Yeah.
And it's only like 50 people. Thousands hit the streets. That's all bullshit. That's why I don't watch the freaking TV anymore.
Yeah.
So I understand.
It's theater. I mean, and
it's
literally
circus.
Not only is the media theater, but the events that are orchestrated, the wars that we get into, have to justify. It's like a cartoon. It's just amazing to me. China's mad at the U.S.
They're not.
And they're just mad. And the U.S. is mad at Russia, and Korea made everybody mad. And it's just like, are people buying this? This is not the way it works. Mm-hmm. And people do buy it, obviously, but it's just, it's like a cartoon. They give it to you like a cartoon, and it's so much more complicated in a way, and it's very simple, because the same group of people control all these countries.
It's the simplest formula I'm learning in the planet, man. And such a simple plan, and yet Yeah, then it's blown out another way complicated.
Yeah.
And the people just take their little spoonful of sugar every day. Get your free cell phones and your government assistance and your freaking, I like weed. I can't smoke it. It kicks my ass. But your pot cards and free cell phones. What else they get going on? All the goodies. The goodies get handed out.
Yeah.
Let's pass. I told it's a month and a half before the elections. I go, they're going to give away cell phones and gay marriage will pass and marijuana laws. And on the other side of the coin, more forced inoculation bullshit. And same president will be in there. The same president said, if I don't get them in the war and fix the economy in 4 years, I'm a one-term president. Remember that one?
Look, this is my cell phone. Not even with a camera. This one, it's like, I don't know, 6 years old, and this is. I don't need a new one, where you can watch videos and everything. I mean, it's not even good for the eyes, because if you're watching a ping pong game on this kind of screens, I mean, it's just there to make some emergency calls or to get calls. I not even call with them. It doesn't has credit, but I can receive at least calls. I don't need the bullshit what they are trying to sell us now, It's like the XP what I have on this, old-fashioned, but it's working, and I don't need.
So if you have XP in that, Russ must have Windows 2000. And what you got? One of those suitcase phones with the cord on it?
Yeah, you got to hoist it over your shoulder. The battery goes in a bag. Weighs about 18 pounds.
Don't laugh. I used to sit at the mall like that when I couldn't, because it was 26 cents a minute. And I just pretend to be on the phone when I was just out of high school. I'd be sitting in the mall with my big phone, my big Panasonic with the rubber antenna with the cord. Yeah, hey, hit the button so it lights up still. Hey,
That's ace hip there.
Yeah. And I just got rid of my flip phone for one of these things, which I broke the second day I had it a year ago.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
But this thing here, you have to install applications to disable all the spyware bullshit that's in it.
Yeah.
Well, Hans,
the new cell
was
phones.
showing his phone. I was looking around for mine. I guess it's downstairs.
That's what I did. I'm just going to show you.
Leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, mine. When did we get it? God, 2005. It's. I'm surprised it still works. Had to change batteries. The batteries have all, stopped working. So I had to buy batteries for it. But it's ancient.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything but make phone calls.
Exactly. This is what it's for. I mean, why you want to have a cell phone with watching PowerPoint presentations or whatever? For this is the computer or the laptop, And also the new stuff, they have also what is the name? GPS, so they can control you where you are. And I have watched some videos. They can spy on you whenever they want, because I don't know what technology they have inside those things. But for sure they can even listen at your phone calls or whatever.
I can find out information about you and put something in your phone right here.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere your camera points, any time of day or night, it's always on, whether you know it or not. And I can pull the data from everywhere your camera's looked, every GPS location, mapping where you've been, every word said in the room, every text, picture, phone number, history, passwords, social sites, and that gets packaged up and sent to me.
Yeah.
And so if I can subscribe to a service that does that, what do you think the phones do already?
Of course.
For the supplier, the vendor.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'll even add to that my background is in electronics. That capability had to be designed in the phone from the beginning to do all that stuff. So it was a plan that was put into action before the phone was ever manufactured. That was well thought out from the beginning.
Now, when you when you use your thing that says running apps, there's a thing on the top that says apps running. You open that up, it's going to show you stuff like nothing's running, and then but if you install a different app that actually advanced task killer is what I use, it will show other apps that are running. See, it's running the weather program right now. I don't use weather, but it runs. It's all tracking and GPS bullshit. So I have that set to kill automatically every 30 minutes.
What about Kirsten? What kind of phone does she have?
Well, I actually
iPhone.
I got it yesterday.
Well, no. So actually, Robert knows a little bit of my story, but I dealt with being tracked and hacked by a service like that for 2 years by somebody that I knew for 16 years.
And I get paid to find those bastards on divorces. I love.
Yeah. And yeah, so I know all about that. It's very stressful.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I do. Part of my moving through that because it was extreme. It was life changing
La
for me.
nueva botella de Pepsi es una
I do have an
chulada.
iPhone, and I'm fully aware though of my interactions on it.